Hello, everyone. Welcome to another episode of Drop Frames. I'm JP McDaniel, joined by Co-Carnage and Zeke, who's coming to us from the moon. Wow. I told you it was low.
Jeez.
Yeah, it is what
it is. What happened to it?
I'm not sure. We're still... I mean, in Montana, they just got the internet. It's still kind of pushing out to the...
It's like he's animated. It's like he's being redrawn every few seconds.
He does look like the Take On Me video.
Yeah, right?
Yeah, there you go. There you go. It's good.
Wow, what in the fuck is going on here?
On Z.
Take on Z.
On Z. I can't go that high.
Yeah, I'm not sure what's going on. I'm sure it'll fix itself out. Anyways, what episode are we on?
202.
202. Thank you for joining us today here on the show. We're taking next week off. We'll just start off with that. I'll be in London, so there will be no show. Unless Zeke and Co decide to get together and do something, but I'd probably not. That's up to them.
Remember, I'm off. So that I'm... Yeah.
Oh, that's right. Yeah,
I'll be watching my kid.
I forgot about that.
That timing lined up really well.
Yeah, it did. Yeah, it did for sure. Well, we'll start off with what I guess we would consider a surprise. Last week, Co mentioned this game, and I didn't expect to really enjoy it as much as I did. But everyone knows what I'm talking about. It's our 2016-2017 Game of the Year, Overwatch, that I spent 12 hours last Thursday playing.
Wait, what?
Yeah, that's a bait and switch right there.
I've been had.
You've been had. No, I wouldn't play Overwatch. I'm just going to spend 5 minutes on this because we talked about the 222 thing, and you literally asked last week, hey, is this something you're going to check out? And I was like, I don't know, man. I don't. Then I played 12 hours straight. So I guess it's still a pretty good game. I was playing on the PTR. I didn't realize this was already out on the PTR. Which is the test realm for the public test realm is what that stands for. It was myself, Anne, Shroud, Bean Ann's. I think there was one other person playing with us. But yeah, it's still Overwatch. Let me just say that. It's still Overwatch. So if you're not into Overwatch, you're not going to be into this. But the fact that now 222 queuing exists, and what that means to jump into that is that when you queue, the people that you're queuing with or your solo queue has to choose a role. So you're either a tank, a healer, or a DPS. And then when you play in that round, your hero selection is locked to tank heroes, DPS heroes, or healer heroes. You cannot pick outside of that. And it also means that for each of those three roles, you have your own SR, your own ranking. So you can be, a 3,000 DPS or 3,000 SR DPS, but you can also be a 1,500 tank, which is cool because now if you want to tank, you're playing with people that are your skill level when you tank, which is kind of nice because you're not like a DPS that's having a bad game. You're asked to switch to a tank and then you're absolutely fucking awful and you lose because of that. The fact that it took, 4 years for them to actually get
I was going to say, this would have been a completely different world if that would have been in on launch.
Could you imagine if they launched with this?
I know. I was just thinking that. This is one of those things where when you hear it, it's just like, oh, that should have been fundamentally part of the game from the beginning. No questions asked. No, yeah.
It's
wow. That's cool.
Yeah, it's kind of crazy.
It's great that it's in though. I mean, that's great. They did it.
Right. Oh, I just realized. I just now realized that I have this stupid image up from last week's episode of myself from 4 years ago.
I thought you had that was in your game.
That's why you were gray.
No. This is PJ. That's my alternate personality. Whenever we played Salt Watch, he shows up. So yeah. This is all information he relayed to me.
PJ, what's PJ like?
He's kind of an asshole. To be blunt.
So is he an alter ego, really though?
I mean, he's more like a superhero. He's like an anti-hero, is what I would say. He's like if I were to put on a mask, become
an anti. It looked exactly like your face.
Yes, that looked exactly. I am wearing a mask. It's a very good mask. If you've seen any of the recent Mission Impossibles, it's actually that mask that they use to trick everyone. It's the old trick in every Mission Impossible movie. Yeah. Anyways, I didn't have much else to say on that except I'm excited for this to come to live. I'll probably play more, especially when there's a dry spell in games that have come out. But at the end of the day, it's still Overwatch. They've also changed so many fucking things in that game. A lot of the heroes I didn't even recognize. I think the last time I played was last November. And so in the time between now and then, they've put a lot of new heroes in the game. A lot of things have changed. They're definitely changing that game for their league. And I don't know if that's for the better or for the worse, because obviously I'm not a professional player or someone that follows the league. But they're definitely balancing around that. So much so that now in 222, they're going to push that into they already have actually, I think, pushed that into their league. And one of the funny caveats of that is when someone changes role, they have to get up out of their seat on stage and sit in a different seat so that they're sitting in like a tank seat, I guess is how it was conveyed to me, which seems real fucking dumb. As someone that has watched esports games before, that just seems absolutely bananas to think about the fact that you have to get up and move when you change roles.
What's the thinking here? That people can't like stealth change or something?
I don't know. I think the thinking is that so their stage looks appropriate. Like they might have like their two sections out. I don't know.
Okay, Chad is saying it's more because of viewing. They're doing this because
so it's like a stage thing.
Cameras in the stadium.
Yeah.
Okay,
that makes sense.
Okay. Oh, I thought. Okay. I thought it was because like they specifically wanted the other team to see them move or something. And I was kind of like, okay, that seems a little bit
I don't know.
top, but
also apparently the chat's expanding on this, which is good because I did not know the full story. It's only between games, and players changing roles between matches is really rare. Still though, that's really dumb. I mean, I understand
like
why.
Sports players changing position in a game, right?
Yeah,
like they really train for those specific roles, so that could be kind of
like a pitcher's not going to decide to play. Not umpire. Of course, he's not going to decide to play umpire. We know a lot about sports here at Drop Frames that I can't name another position. A first baseman, actually.
I mean, the pitcher's not going to sub out for the punter. I mean, the guy with the rackets, I mean, it's crazy. Anyways, these sports balls.
The pitcher's not just going to whip out a golf club and start fucking hitting, 100-yard throws. Okay?
Right.
All right? Everyone understood that. Anyways, that's Overwatch. It's short and sweet. Yes, we'll be talking about Fire Emblem, I'm sure, at length. But before we get to that, Zeke, oh my God, you're like...
What? I'm melting.
What is
Thanos right in front of us?
What is happening? I have no idea why this is happening.
I don't either, man.
We were just in a call for Quarter Sword yesterday.
And it was fine.
Your audio's fine too. Like there's no issues at all with the audio.
I don't know. That's weird. Is that the worst named game to come out in recent time? Is Iratus Lord of the Dead the worst named game to come out, in your opinion?
Yeah. I mean, the name is a little strange. Iratus.
Yeah.
Like, there's so many different things it could be. Erectus, erotic. I mean, I got to start calling it erotic Lord of the Dildo. Like,
I'm sure the devs
right
love
away.
that.
I mean, it's just. I mean, it's whatever it is.
It's Darkest Dungeon.
I don't know where they got the name.
I didn't realize how similar this is to Darkest Dungeon, but it actually is like unbelievably similar.
It's basically a direct copy, except you're playing like on the other side.
Yeah.
And there's some crafting stuff.
Huh.
Yes. There is a couple of big differences. People, obviously, when you watch this, you definitely get Darkest Dungeon vibes because that's, I mean, exactly what it is.
Yeah.
It's supposed to look like that.
Yeah.
There are some major differences though. Well, first of all, let me just say, like, when people ask me, "Oh, is this just a Darkest Dungeon clone?" Well, it's about, I want to say about 60% Darkest Dungeon, like 20% Slay the Spire, and like 20% new stuff. There's a couple of big differences between Iratus Lord of the Dead and Darkest Dungeon. One, obviously, you play as the bad guys. You're a necromancer named Iratus, or whatever you want to call him.
Okay, that makes a little bit more sense now.
Yeah, you're a necromancer, and you raise these armies. And in order to get these guys, you don't recruit them off a caravan like in Darkest Dungeon. You create them from materials you gather. So you gather, oh God, how many materials are there? There's bones, skulls, weapons, armor, hearts, blood, meat, dust, and ectoplasm.
Is that what we're seeing here?
Yep, that's it right there on the right-hand side there. You see the green is ectoplasm, the big hunk of meat looks meat, bones, blah, 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 so on and so forth. Each of the monsters that you create to fight for you takes a different combination of 4 things. So like the skeleton, like your regular skeleton warrior would take armor, bone, skull, and weapon. Whereas a zombie would take armor, heart, or armor, meat, weapon, and skull, or something like that.
Now,
so on and so forth.
Are those recipes explained to you beforehand, or do you have to kind of like mix and match?
No, they're like in the slots. See the slots down below?
Yeah.
Those are that you're looking at one that's filled in.
Okay.
But before there's a fill in button, which is super nice, which is super quality of life.
Oh, I see.
See
Okay.
that?
Yeah.
Yep, right below the banshee it says fill. What it does also, there's tiered levels of the materials. So if you have it's green, blue, purple as far as rarity goes, with the level of materials, but you have you can make better materials with your alchemy station or whatever. Yeah, I'm sorry about the slideshow, guys. You can make better stuff by combining 2 of the same thing into one, like 2 commons make a green, uncommon, 2 uncommons make a blue, rare, and so on and so forth.
Right.
So you can do that to make better parts for your demons. You see that little brain, that brain with a 3 on it in the right hand side there?
Yep.
That is a drop that you get from finishing battles. And that's one of the biggest differences between Darkest Dungeon and Iratus, is that brain signifies a minion's level. So you kill a whole bunch of humans, they'll drop a 3 brain or a level 3 brain. And you plug it into a level 1, they automatically become a level 3. Which brings me to my other biggest difference between this, probably the hugest difference. Your minions are expendable. They are absolutely 100% expendable. They will die, and it's not nearly as punishing as it is in Darkest Dungeon. You don't spend hours and hours and hours like building up somebody, and you lose a whole squad of level 5, level 6, like people. You're just fucking crushed. You're like, oh god, that was like an hour of grinding. Fuck.
Now, is like a Darkest Dungeon, not fanboy. As someone who loves Darkest Dungeon, you would view that as probably.
You can call me a
bad
fanboy.
thing.
I'm definitely a fanboy.
Yeah, I didn't. It comes with so much negative connotation that I didn't want to do it. Someone that really enjoys Darkest Dungeon, you would think that's bad. Do you think as like a casual player that thought that was actually like too rough, that would appeal to them in this game, that it is a little bit easier to get like a higher ranking character, and when you lose it, it's not that detrimental?
Do I think it's too easy or too rough? Well,
No. Am I cutting up, or was the question unclear?
No. It was kind of muddled.
Okay, gotcha. Is it something that's more approachable for someone that thought Darkest Dungeon was too hardcore, is what I'm trying to say?
At the beginning, yes, absolutely. Okay. I would say at the very beginning of the game, when I started this game, the very first day, the first stream I did, the first 8 hours I did, I started over 3 times, and it's super fast. But that's where the Slay the Spire aspect comes in. Has roguelike elements or whatever.
Right.
Because you go through. I died on the first floor, I think 3 times, and then my 4th run, I went through all. I managed to get through all of them, because you learn as you go, but also once you unlock a new character, because there's characters you can unlock as you go along. You like a mummy, a shade, a vampire, a blood phantasm, like shit like that. But once you unlock it, you have it forever. So I unlocked like the mummy and the lich and the blood phantasm and stuff like that. Died. I was like, oh fuck, now I fucking won't have it. And then I went back in. I was like, oh shit, they stay unlocked. Oh cool. Okay. That's like the
Oh, okay.
roguelike element. So you can start a new game with more powerful monsters. Or monsters if you like more suited to your play style. And when I say suited to your play style, there are two major types of play style in this game.
Right.
You can field a squad that is physical damage, or you can field a squad that is stress damage, because that's one of the cooler things about it, is that instead of accruing stress damage in this game, you dish that shit out, and it is fucking satisfying sometimes. Because if you've ever played Darkest Dungeon and you had like the fucking Doomsayer or whatever, I can't remember the skeleton throwing the fucking goblet of shit on you.
That fucking asshole.
And you went insane. It's terrible. It's terrible. Oh, and I want to say there is two sides of physical damage. There's actual physical damage and there's magic damage, but they all affect your red bar, your red health bar. So whether you're doing magic or physical damage, it's affecting the same bar. Stress is affecting the purple bar down below, which is their stress meter.
Right.
You, however, as a monster, don't have one, which is so nice. It's so you don't have to worry about the stress at all. However, your characters are pretty squishy, so they will die. So don't get attached. Don't get attached to your guys, because after a battle, you can just make more. And especially if you up like your skill tree as Iratus, the skill tree that you advance is your own as the necromancer.
Oh, that's kind of cool.
So you'll give yourself better chances at drops, spells you can cast during the battle. You see during the battle here. Oh,
sorry, I was looking at the skill tree real quick. I can go back.
Oh, there it is. Yep.
Yeah.
Yep, that's the skill tree.
So wait, there's
you have
4 different screens like that?
Yep, there's alchemy, magic, ire, and destruction. Alchemy is for your a lot of your passive abilities come from alchemy. Like across the board there, if you want, can you just back up like 3 seconds?
Yeah, I'll get there. Continue talking.
Okay.
There you go.
There it is. Across the top there, like the first one is better chance at collecting parts after a battle. The second one is better chance at collecting architecture parts, like the gears. Like in the graveyard, there are structures you can build just like in Darkest Dungeon. It's like your township, but it's in a graveyard. The third one is I can't remember, but the fourth one is you're allows you the ability to switch out good parts into your minions on the fly without having to create a new minion. So if you want to like take out their common heart and put in an uncommon heart, you can do that. Shit like that. So that's like alchemy is like the passive abilities. Magic, ire, and destruction allow you to cast spells during the fight. So you're actually helping out your monsters during the fight with one spell per loop, per combat loop.
Gotcha.
So you can cast a spell that does stress damage. You can cast a spell that gives your guys buffs, or so on and so forth. Like lots of options during the battle. And all of these guys have different abilities and qualities and team makeup and stuff like that. It's still pretty satisfying, like it was in Darkest Dungeon, when you get a squad of 4 and you're like, I fucking nailed the synergy, dude. I got it. I know exactly how this team works. I know how to make them work together and stuff like that. Okay, look, I'm gonna slow down. I'm starting to ramble. Okay.
Oh, that was loud.
Next thing.
Go ahead.
Dude, this entire show is rambling. Take your time, man.
Yeah,
It's good,
yeah.
man.
You don't have to stress about
Please
it.
ramble on, brother.
Next big thing, and this was a huge thing. I don't want to say there's no healing, but there's not a lot at all.
In terms of like healing your units.
Yeah, during battle, there's no healing units. Like there's no specifically healing units.
Oh, okay.
Which makes absolute sense because they're fucking mindless monsters, man. Like throw them. Like I mean, it makes you feel like you're actually like throwing chum to the sharks, like because they're completely expendable. In fact, one of the other major mechanics of this game is in order to build your graveyard, you actually have to create and sacrifice your own thing. So in order to build like the obelisk, which gives you more mana back after every round of battle or round of combat, in order to build it, you have to build up a like say a banshee. You have to take all the parts, make the banshee, and then basically like it seems like work it to death building that obelisk. Like you just sacrifice it to the obelisk, and the obelisk is built. If you want to get it to level 2, you have to make a lich. Sacrifice the lich to get a level 2 obelisk. And also, one of the mechanics is every building you have has slots in it. So when you go back to the map and you go forward from spot to spot to spot, that's where the Slay the Spire, another part of that comes in, is that the map is built like Slay the Spire. Like you go like choice, third branch, second branch. You kind of pick your path as you go up. So you can pick a path that has 2 fights, 1 HP well, 1 quest, and 1 coffin filled with artifacts. It's like that. So you can kind of pick your path. But as you go onto the map, in the buildings there are slots. So you leave people behind, you leave minions behind in these slots to mine for parts, give you mana back after every battle, give you more wrath. Go to like there's an arena. Well, I just called it school because if you leave a minion behind in school, they gain like 2 experience points while you're on the map. So there's a lot of mechanics in the game where you can customize your how you like to play the game. So
Right.
if you are someone who likes to cast a lot of spells as Iratus, you want to make sure that you have at least 2, 3, or 4 slots of the obelisk open with minions in them at all times. So after every battle, you'll be getting like 32 mana back after every battle or what have you. But there's a lot of customizability to the game. As the skill tree of Iratus is big, pretty big, but the skill trees for the minions is not. It's one side or the other of an ability that you already have. You see that right in the middle there? There's a square.
Right.
When your minions level up, you pick one side of that or the other side, and their max level is 7
Is that per minion or per unit type?
per minion.
Okay.
So you can have
different minions of the same type, so you can spec differently.
Yeah.
Yep. So you have a Bride of Iratus like this. You have one that does this damage and it has higher chance of crit, and then you have another Bride that like has this much dread, so it's going to make them stress out faster or something like that. So you can take them and put them in different squads for different reasons. It's a blast, man. I had so much fun playing it.
It seems much more complicated than I thought.
Yeah, same.
I thought it was just a Darkest Dungeon clone, but it seems like they expanded a lot on it. Which is
Not
cool.
only that, but it seems like more importantly, even though it looks like Darkest Dungeon, it's sounding like it plays completely differently. It's like especially, I mean, just the lack of stress mechanic alone, and the fact that it's flipped, like would be a drastically different way to play Darkest Dungeon, let alone a brand new game with all sorts of other new stuff. So
Right.
that's cool. That's cool. It's like the map.
I will
That
say
looks super fun too.
It is. I like the choices of the map. Outlaw, Slay the Spire. Just choose where you want to go, what you want to fight, that kind of stuff. I played it on the more pain difficulty, which is the highest you can do because there's 3 levels of difficulty. The max level difficulty you can't get until you beat 3 levels. The 3 levels they have available right now on the more pain difficulty, which I ended up doing after 3 days of broadcasting. Is like 23-ish hours.
Nice. And that's still early access, right? So that's not even the full game?
Yeah. Not even the full game. Yeah, there's two more full levels that are going to be available.
Sure.
So let me see here. I want to make sure I don't get this wrong. How much is it?
It's $24.99.
It is, yeah, $24.99, and I got. I mean, that's like if you're into like value hours played stuff. If you're not, this isn't for you. This comment isn't for you. But that's like $1 an hour, so that's pretty decent.
Yeah, yeah.
For me.
What is the?
And also, it's not even the full thing. It's not like there's 2 more floors to explore.
Oh, I was looking at the support. I'm looking at the Steam page. I was looking at the like $9.99 supporter pack that comes with it. It comes with the soundtrack. Is the music good? Is it worth grabbing a soundtrack for it?
Yeah.
Yeah. Is it
okay.
music that's not necessarily your type of music, or is it just like not the best music?
It's just not intrusive. Like I didn't really.
Okay. Sure.
It's not good enough to catch my. It wasn't good enough to catch my ear, but it was unintrusive enough for me to not like get upset that I was playing. It was good background music.
Cool. All right.
Oh, one thing I will say is at the beginning. One other thing I will say.
Yeah.
Is at the beginning of the game, you get this voiceover, and first of all, it's an atrocious recording. I mean, it's like
is it like
amateur
placeholder?
hour. No, I don't know. I have no fucking idea, but it's like terribly clipping. It's like it's fucking awful. But the second part about it is that it's the guy I think is trying to be, or they encourage the guy. Because I think the guy who does the voice acting in it is a professional voice actor. But I bet they were like, we kind of want to, like a knockoff Wayne June kind of a thing. So the opening segment is like that. It feels like I immediately noticed. I was like, oh man, don't try to be Wayne June if you're not Wayne June, dude.
Right.
However, as the game went on, the voices started getting more and more distinct apart from Wayne June. It started to sound like a really cool, like Vincent Pricey kind of a voice, rather than like trinkets and baubles paid for in blood. It was more, like how he did in the Thriller video, like
Right.
darkness falls across the land, midnight hour is close at hand. Like it was more like that, more like creepy horror movie-ish kind of stuff, and it was great. It ended up being fantastic. And some of the voice lines you do end up like looking forward to and kind of repeating, kind of like you did with Wayne June, like back to the pit and stuff like that. There was a few lines like that throughout the game. But honestly, I had a blast with it. I can't wait until it comes out like full release. I'm actually playing it on my own time on the hardest difficulty. Oh, the hardest difficulty is called Good Always Wins. So I'm playing that on my own time on the hardest difficulty. And it seems like they need to rebalance it because it's too easy. Because they give you a lot of stuff.
That's unfortunate.
They give you the enemies are harder, but they also give you a lot more shit to go on or to go with. Like they give you more starting artifacts, more starting parts, blah blah blah.
Right. Cool.
But the more pain difficulty was great. Just allow yourself to lose a couple of times, unlock some shit, come back, and then whoop ass. Hashtag fart cloud shuffle. That was my technique.
I saw that clip with no context, and that was interesting.
Hashtag fart tag. Yep. Fart tag? Is that fart lag?
Cloud shuffle.
Fart cloud shuffle. Fart cloud shuffle.
Yeah.
Okay. All right.
Yeah. It's one of the abilities. One of the abilities by the Lich, as he drops this fart cloud trap on the other team, and moving in and out of it causes damage. So.
I see. All right.
Yeah.
All right.
Fart cloud shuffle. I loved it.
Cool. I'm trying to. I know we're going to talk about Fire Emblem for an extended amount of time, so I'm trying to see if there's anything else that will take a shorter amount of time to discuss. Obviously, Fire Emblem has taken over both of our lives, Co. Have you played anything? Oh, did you play that Youngblood game? I've heard that game's bad.
I did.
I've heard that game is absolute
Wolfenstein Youngblood.
shit.
Okay, so
how is it?
So basically, I co-opt. I did a 4-hour stream with Barry, Barry Carlion, who many of you know.
Yeah,
Good dude.
it's all
And
Barry.
it was a lot of fun. It was fun because I was playing with Barry. But then the next morning, I think I started Fire Emblem that afternoon.
Yeah,
And then the next morning, I played Fire Emblem again for my second session ever. And it got up to the point where I was going to play Wolfenstein, and I was just like, oh, guys, this game's a lot better. I think I'm just going to keep doing this. And I've been doing that for the last 5 days. But here's what we got to say about Wolfenstein Youngblood. Okay. Every so often, a franchise finds its voice. It finds what's good about it. It finds what works, and it takes that formula and it makes multiple games. And a great example of that is Wolfenstein. Wolfenstein had its remake a while back, and a second one came out, then a third one, I think maybe even a fourth one. They were all following BJ Blazkowicz, the Nazi killing badass. He would move from the beginning of the game to the end. Lots of memorable characters, lots of cool levels. You keep getting weapons the whole time, lots of story stuff and over the top cutscenes. And that's been their formula up until now. And it's worked. And honestly, it's the reason I've loved Wolfenstein. No, there are only two. No, I think there's three. There was the remake, and then there was like Old Blood, and there was like New Blood. I don't know.
There's three,
anyway.
I think. Yeah.
Yeah, maybe there was three. I don't know. There were a bunch, but they were all good, and I enjoyed all of them. I played all of them, loved it. So when this one came out, I was like, cool, co-op Wolfenstein. So here's the thing. Very similar to Fallout 76.
Ooh.
Ooh, what?
What Machine Games tried to do was take an existing thing that fans really enjoyed and completely change that to something else. And that's what Wolfenstein Youngblood is. So Wolfenstein Youngblood is co-op, first of all, buggy co-op, second of all, uses this weird new weapon system where some weapons remove short lines of armor and others remove large lines of armor. And if you don't use the right gun on the right armored enemy, it doesn't work as well. So you find yourself blasting through your ammo a lot. Ammo has been reduced. You don't get a lot of cool weapons as you move through the game. You kind of get a small pool that you then upgrade with this system. There's money, silver all over the place. So you're constantly looking for things to pick up so you can buy more upgrades like this. And this is the part that kind of killed it for me. Instead of it being a Wolfenstein experience where you play from the beginning to the end and you have all this interesting stuff that happens between it, it is now this new semi-open world level-based gated system with spongy enemies that are directly harder based on your level. So what you have now is like, and the best example I can give is I was really excited to just play through the main story with Barry.
Right.
I wanted to hit all the main story missions, boom, 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 get all the cutscenes, get all the cool new weapons, have myself a co-op Wolfenstein experience. Well, after just the first couple levels, and I literally mean like less than 2 hours, well, then all of a sudden it gives you a world map, and it gives you these 3 gates to do, and all 3 of the gates, the level of those missions were literally 50% more than what I had. So like me and Barry were like level 10 and 11, and all these story missions were 20. Now, there's a hub, and there were side missions everywhere. And you can talk to these people and get side missions for other levels. And that's essentially how you, I think, get these levels and kind of, get up to the point where you can continue the main mission.
Yeah.
But we did one of these side missions. Barry, I think, bugged into a wall or something. And you have a pool of shared lives. So if one player dies 3 times, even if it's to bugs or being stuck, then the level ends for all of you. So essentially we got bugged, and the side mission quit. And then we go back in, and the objective was different. It was the same quest, but when we got up to the end, it gave us a different objective. And it's really strange because that basically means like the side stuff that you have to do to get back to the main story seems to be partly procedural, which just makes them even less interesting. So it's kind of like they've just changed so many things from what works in Wolfenstein. They half-assed a lot of the stuff that's in it. There's bugs on top of that. This new weapon ammo system is just dumb. I mean, it's just contrived like stupidity and having to use multiple weapons on different enemies. Like it's mind-blowingly dumb when you think about like half the fun of Wolfenstein is just getting a bunch of fun weapons and killing enemies with it. Well, you can't do that anymore. You can take a shotgun up against the wrong type of enemy and use like all of your ammo against them and not even kill them if you're using the wrong gun on the wrong enemy. So I don't know, dude. Like, it's just strange. Like it's like they took all the stuff that worked and they changed it just enough so it doesn't feel good anymore. And that's Wolfenstein Youngblood.
What was the deal with the microtransaction?
Oh,
stuff?
TLDR also. Apparently, the people that have finished the entire game have said even that the main story is like a side thought, like it's an afterthought.
Okay.
So yeah. Now the microtransaction things I can't really comment too much on because when I played it, I think it was a day early and the day one patch hadn't gone in. So Kat was telling me that the store wasn't turned on. I couldn't find it easily.
Yeah.
Which probably means it wasn't turned on. So, but I have heard that the cash shop is not great, but I cannot comment on that personally. I did not see it.
It sounds to me, so clarify something for me before I make this statement, is when you shoot someone, it doesn't do like 20 HP. It does a knock of armor. Is that?
The way that it works is many enemies are just enemies.
Right.
They have a normal health bar. And those any gun works against them and it's fine. But other enemies will have a health bar and then a certain type of armor. And the armor is either little white lines or larger hollow cubes. And if you look in the very bottom right of my screen under the ammo, you can see what type of armor that gun affects. So the premise is that if you use the wrong armor type gun on the wrong armor, then essentially you are just wasting ammo. Here's a good example. Like this guy has block armor. So you can see it just took me like 5 shotgun shots in front of him to get through his armor. And then you have to work through the other thing. Now, what's even weirder is when you come up to harder enemies, you have this giant hulking fully upgraded shotgun and you have to shoot that like 6 times to get through the armor, or you can switch over to the proper ammo type in your dinky little machine pistol and melt it off in 3 seconds.
Okay. Huh.
It's just like, what? That's what? Like it doesn't make any sense. Again, it's the whole point of it is just to make you switch guns all the time. And that's another thing I hated about the game. You always have to switch guns. Like it's not like you can find a favorite gun or anything like that. Like you constantly are having to switch guns, and then you use the wrong gun and the wrong ammo type, so you completely run out of ammo. So then, and also at one point there was a mission when I only had one gun that could affect the block armor type.
Yeah.
And I ran out of ammo.
So what do you do?
Then for the entire second half of the mission, I'm just wasting ammo on the other guns because it was the only thing I could do to shoot at them. And then I ran out of ammo on that gun as well. So if Barry wasn't there, I wouldn't have been able to do anything. Like I seriously, it was again so poorly thought out, this system. And then you tie that to the low ammo caps and the fact that ammo is not even like readily available. Like I felt myself running out of ammo multiple times, and almost in every level I did, I ran out of ammo for at least 1 or 2 guns. Yeah, I don't know, dude. The whole thing just feels not well balanced, not well thought out, rushed. And then the bugs were terrible. Like Barry, now I've heard the bugs got a little bit better.
Yeah, apparently they patched some
Barry
stuff.
Played, like Barry crashed out 7, 8 times. At one point, he got completely stuck in a wall, and we had to like the level finished. Like it was bad. And also, just as a note, we did end up trying the high level mission just to see if we could maybe do it at like, I think we were level 12 and 13, and we did the 20 story mission. And there was a part near the end where there were 2 turrets on top of the door. Each one was rapid fire, and they would one-shot us. And then before the door was a heavily armored enemy that had 2 dogs. And these dogs, which were incredibly fast, were suicide dogs. So they just run out at you and one shot blow up in your face. Fun!
Jesus.
So it's just, and the worst part is I later found out that if we had just leveled, then like apparently that would have been a lot better. But it's like, to do that, we would have had to do a bunch of meaningless side stuff that's basically procedural. So I don't know, man. It's just the whole thing was just, it wasn't Wolfenstein. It was some weird little side. And to be fair, it's $30, not 60.
Right.
So it is the definition of a side project, like 76. But very similar to 76, man. They tried too many things and none of them really worked well. And some of these things, like, I'm surprised made it out of testing. That ammo thing, like, that completely changes the feel of this game, and not in a good way. I'm baffled that made it out of testing.
What I was gonna say, and I I don't necessarily believe this anymore after everything you just said. But what I was going to say when he first mentioned how the armor stuff worked and how the game was functioning, my first thought was, is this a mobile game that came out on PC first? Right? Because like that's how like FPSs work on mobile games, because it's fucking impossible to actually be good at aiming when you're aiming on a mobile device.
You use the special ammo type.
Yeah, so you would use like a special ammo type to like knock off armor. And they might be able to do it with some subtle changes. So maybe this will come out with this same platform on mobile devices in the future, and potentially do very well there, because mobile games make a lot of money for that type of audience. But for them to go with those same set of features for like a PC first and console first release is an interesting choice, to say the least.
Yeah, it would be hilarious. Now, of course, to be clear, I have not seen the shop, so I have no idea. But it would be hilarious if there were microtransactions that helped with this. Like, that would just be completely...
Someone is saying you can buy bullets in XP in the chat just now, earlier. XP... Well, so, I think it was XP boosters. Please, Claire, please tell me if I'm wrong, chat, because I want to get this right. Or maybe...
Wait, you... No, okay, see, we need to be real careful talking about this, because we do not want to get out wrong info here.
Right.
But I will say this, like, I ran out of ammo so many times in this. If they actually sold ammo boosters, that would be super messed up. Because, like, that was one of my bigger problems with the game, was that I would just run out of ammo all the time, especially in the later levels me and him played. So, ammo boosters would be bad. Okay, some people are saying, Alien Artichoke says, XP and money boosters on consoles. Okay, so maybe they're on a good. That's better. Okay, there are no ammo boosters. Cool. Okay, good.
The first fix, or sorry, the first when you Google Youngblood microtransactions, the first thing that comes up is an article entitled "Wolfenstein Youngblood's microtransactions aren't even worth getting mad at." So I don't know what that means.
Yeah, somebody's saying just open the game into. I already uninstalled it.
Yeah. Do you have to use the Bethesda launcher for that, by the way?
I don't think I did.
Really?
I don't.
Okay.
I just got. Well, then again, I had the early Steam thing. So
it might bypass that.
I don't know if Bethesda has the early branch.
Yeah. Chat's saying it's on Steam, but
there you go.
Yeah. Huh. Well,
like I may try it again down the road. I've heard that they are entertaining making changes to it, which I really hope that was serious. Because like I could seriously try this game out if they completely fixed it, removed the armor. There it is. That's it right there. That's it. So, but yeah, like I could see trying it again if it was, just a little bit less janky. Because I mean, I will say, like, when it worked, it was really fun just running through the Wolfenstein world with Barry.
Yeah,
like,
is the co-op like fun?
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, like when it was working, and it was fun. Like it was, I could see the idea behind how this could be a really good time, but which again, why it's so baffling that they put in all this stuff. Like, dude, they just need to make the co-op work, and then just make a co-op Wolfenstein game. Like, don't need to open world it. You don't need procedural quests. You don't need levels. Like, take all that shit out. Just make a really good co-op Wolfenstein game, and that'd be 10 times better than. So yeah, I don't know, man. I don't know.
Yeah, it's weird for sure. Bethesda had a lot of stuff go wrong last week in terms of the spotlight and some things they put up 2 Doom games that removed them from the backwards compatible list so that then they could charge them on the new Xbox One update or something like that. New Xbox One X version. But then apparently that was a bug, so they like went back and changed that. And then there was something where they said, like, with the new Doom game, in order to play it, you have to log into a Bethesda account. And then, like, the internet raged, and then they fixed that, like, a little bit later. So it was not a good week for Bethesda. It's not been a good year for Bethesda. Except for that one guy in the audience at E3. He thinks they're having the year of the best year of all time.
Best year.
Yeah, yeah. Is Bethesda Doom Eternal, I guess, is shipping this fall, and that's the only other game, right, from Bethesda coming out?
Hopefully we'll get some more information on Ghostwire before the end. Doom Eternal, I think honestly that's going to be Bethesda's saving grace this year.
Oh, without a doubt, I would agree. Yeah.
I think that's going to be the one, and I'm kind of glad it's at the end of the year for them because that's that's probably the best foot you could end on after this year.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's high hopes. I hope.
Yeah. Huh. Well, that's shit. I was hoping it was going to be a good co-op experience, but does not seem it.
Me too, man. I had very high hopes for Youngblood as a Wolfenstein fan. I was pretty disappointed. That's now 2 times this year that I've been let down by Bethesda side projects on franchises I've liked.
What was the other one?
Well, I guess Fallout 76 was last year, wasn't it?
It just feels like Fallout 76 is always
really does.
present.
It really does.
It's omnipresent without a doubt.
Just can't escape it.
You can't. It's tough. It's tough.
And over here, all I'm wishing is that my parents would have kissed at the undersea dance.
Yeah,
Fucking fading away. Like,
that's true. I wonder how
Marty
many
Mc-
people watching the audience got that, because it even took Co a little
That
bit
reference!
to get
That
the
was great.
reference.
That
I
was
wonder
great.
if people are just like, the undersea. What the fuck is he talking? Like,
I had no idea what you were talking about for a second, and then I was like, "Oh my god!"
how many people in chat
I
got
have
that
no idea
reference?
what's going on here. Like, my Ethernet looks fine. Everything's fine. I'm connected to chat. I'm connecting to all this shit, but my camera's just all fucked.
I don't know. I'm
I'm wondering if I
JP's
like need a PC
All
restart or
JP's.
something.
You could try it. You're just sending super low bit rate to me, which has never really happened before. So I don't know if that's on your end.
And in
or what.
doubt, blame JP.
Yeah, I'm fine with that, without a doubt. It is.
Yeah, when you guys start talking about Fire Emblem, maybe I'll do a restart.
Oh, I thought
You
you
know
were
that's when
going
your
to say.
camera's gonna start working perfectly.
Yeah, I thought you were going to say I'll start playing Fire Emblem, and I was. Oh, I guess that works.
Maybe I'll start. Yeah, I'll just start playing it.
Yeah, like your bit rate just bumped up, and now it's actually steadily climbing. We have to clap, and we have to mention. Nope. We're fuck. Now it's dropping. Now it's back down to 50. What if we just say the word Fire Emblem? Does it get better? It's actually getting better.
Fire Emblem.
Keep saying
Fire
it.
Emblem.
Keep clapping. Keep clapping.
Fire Emblem.
Dang it.
The numbers are going up.
Wow.
360 bit rate, 289, 475. It's all over the place. It has no influence on it.
Yeah.
Did you finish the second game of that anime game? How do you? Danganronpa.
Danganronpa.
Danganronpa. Okay, I never know how to pronounce that.
Oh my god, I haven't talked
Oh,
about
speaking
this
of, hold on, before we get on to that, speaking of pronouncing stuff, his name is Barry Carlion.
Barry. It's not Barry Carlion, which is what I
That's
called
what
him
I've been
for
calling
years.
him for like 5 years.
I just say Barry
Here's the
Carlisle.
thing about Barry. Here's the thing about Barry. He won't actually correct.
God damn it, Barry.
And
Oh no, very
and
English of him. He's
I
like,
called
oh,
him-
that's fine.
I called him Barry Carlion for years, and yeah. Finally, I think it was in a mod meeting or something one day where one of my other mods was like, "You've been saying that wrong for like multiple years, right?" And I was like, "What are you talking about?" "No, I'm not." And he's like, "No, it's Barry Carlion, like a lion." And then Barry's like, "Yeah, it's Carlion." And I was just like,
Carlion. Okay.
"Oh,
I've said Barry Carlisle just completely wrong the entire time, so it's Carlion. Okay.
my chats are like."
Yeah, I think
oh.
Twitch chat is dying. I was just
Yep,
noticing.
I
this
can't
as
connect
well.
to chat either. Okay, good.
Yeah.
Okay, good. Yeah, I was gonna say like for the last like minute and a half, there's been like nothing.
Yeah.
Oh, now your bit rate's
Oh.
going down too, buddy.
Yeah, it is a little bit. It was dropping. You dropped to. Now chat's
The internet
like back.
failure?
Something's
I've-
going on
I've
with the internet right
infected
now
you.
in the U.S.
I've infected you with my bad bit rate.
Oh boy. Oh boy.
Ah! It feels like despair. Speaking of that, so Danganronpa 2. Danganronpa 2, I now understand why many people say it's their favorite Danganronpa. There are some extremely messed up things that happen in that one.
I'm not going to show footage, by the way. It's too
No, yeah,
spoilery.
do not. Especially do not towards the end. It gets very crazy. There was a multiple twists that I was pretty happy with. It was definitely one of those games that when you were done, you can kind of sit there and think about it for a little bit, like about the situation and what happened and everything. But yeah, it was a lot of fun. It was a lot of fun. I am definitely looking forward to V3, which is the last Danganronpa game I'm going to be playing at some point in the future. Not sure when. I'm probably going to check out the 999 series before that.
Oh, let's talk about that when we have a second.
See how I like it. Yeah, Danganronpa 2. I believe it or not, almost everyone that I talked to, and that we would speak about this would say Danganronpa 2 was kind of like their favorite. I personally put like 1 and 2 around the same area. I really liked Danganronpa 2, but I also kind of really liked Danganronpa 1. And I because the premise was kind of fresh and everything in that one. And well, I can't talk too much about it being spoilery, but the TLDR is Danganronpa 2 was a lot of fun. I'm glad I played it. I'm very much looking forward to V3. And yeah, if you liked 1, I think you'll probably really like it.
All right. Cool.
Yep.
Short and sweet. Zeke, I want to prompt you to discuss 999, but with the internet, do you want? We can talk Fire Emblem, and you can go try to reconnect. Do you want to do that?
Well, while we're on it, I just want to say, like, it's not going to be a long conversation. I just want to say, 999 was like, 'cause I finished it. It took me longer than I thought, and then it took me way longer than I thought. And here's the reason. Sometimes, I don't know if it's just Japanese games, but it feels like that. Japanese-made games. But it feels like it's like, congratulations, the end. But wait. Round. After credits. 'Cause we're gonna show you some stuff. And you're like, oh shit, I love after credit scenes. Like, I love the MCU shit. Where it's like all of them sitting down around eating a shawarma. Or, you know, like maybe a minute of like cool shit. You're like, oh my god, it gets you hyped for more stuff. Nope. This is like another hour of like lore dump. No gameplay. Now listen, I understand. One of the tags on these games is novel, like a visual novel. In fact, when you look at the tree as it goes along, you'll see it says like novel, escape, novel. So it shows you the sections. But my fucking lord. I'm just going to save you a lot of heart. There's a lot of shit don't feel bad about fast forwarding through because they love to repeat shit that you already know, that you've already seen. So if it starts feeling familiar, it is. Because
Okay.
Boy, do they like to go over the shit. They're like, you remember when I was talking about that door and you're like, no, don't talk about the door again, please. Like, let me tell you from the beginning. Oh God, no, why, God, no. 10 minutes later, you're like, ah.
Doesn't that happen? Let me make maybe a very stupid statement. Isn't that just anime?
I was gonna say, yeah.
Okay,
It happens a lot of
sure.
Persona,
Okay.
like a lot, where
Good.
they just kind of revisit the same thing over and over. I mean, Kingdom Hearts 3 Goofy. Judgment actually had a lot of similar things where they would just go over the same thing over and over, showing like one or two select scenes. It'd be like, remember that part, and then the camera flash, and you get a still from earlier in the game, and then the camera flashes back to wherever you are,
Right.
like that. Yeah. Oh yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
So don't feel bad about porting over stuff. 'Cause there's gonna be a lot of repetition. That being said, I will say that 999 was, if I could just cook the fat off of this thing, it would be a nice steak. It would be a nice steak of a game. But man, you ever had a steak that is just like, there's way too much like fat on this to make it flavorful.
Sure.
Like this, you went overboard with the fat on this. Other than that, it's a charming game. It's you have to give it a little leeway, which I did, which I was totally fine with, because it originally came out on the DS, right? I think it was originally a DS game. The voice acting in English is hilarious. It's some of the best voice acting and localization I've heard in a bad way. Like, it's bad in a good way. Just, you'll have tons of moments where, you know how the famous quote, ... quote?
Yeah.
Like, that's in every anime thing ever. There's a lot of that, but every time they do it, they go around whoever's in the room, and they give them a little grunt or a little sound. I don't know if I said this before, but it was just like, it'll go like there's 5 people in the room, and it'll be like, ooh, like everybody will have a grunt, and it's fucking awesome. I love it. But some of the puzzles are pretty clever. Some of them are pretty basic. but I never felt like I think I said this last time. Like, don't let yourself overcomplicate shit, because that'll put you on your ass, like with your like, what the fuck is going on? If you can't figure it out, there's something you're missing. Like it's like, oh, this is a complicated puzzle. Like, no. Don't let yourself be like sit for hours staring at the same thing. Like, it doesn't make any sense. Well, it's like, it doesn't yet. Don't worry about it. Move on.
I've heard never overthinks things and doesn't read into things at all.
I'm the kind of guy that you know, I have like if I ever get a situation in my head, the first thing I do is try to look a few steps ahead so I can understand the current situation better.
Uh-huh.
But the problem is that when you do that, sometimes you don't see what's right in front of you. So you're thinking 2 steps ahead, and like my old man lack of neuroplasticity won't allow me to just like agilely adjust that focus. So I'll be sitting here thinking I'm being really smart, like, no, it needs to be this thing. And everyone's like, dude, it's right there. Like, if you open your eyes and look on the screen, the answer's right there. And I'll be like, yeah, it does make sense, because this thing over here. Just shut up and click it. Oh my man, it's terrible. It's terrible. There were a few times in Danganronpa where it was like embarrassing, where you get it and you're like, oh, I didn't know they meant that.
I see. Okay. All right. Well, let's talk Fire Emblem. Let's just jump into it.
Yeah, I'll try and restart something or pray.
Sounds good.
I'll be back.
All right. Good luck. Good luck, sir. Don't get lost out there in the internet space. The web.
Intranet.
Earth Angel.
No one's going to get those references, Zeke. We're too old.
I'm so old.
No one will understand it. We're way too old. Make a funny face when you depart, because it'll stick. Okay, you didn't do that. He just closed it.
That's a good one, though. I like that.
It's not bad. It's very subtle. Yeah. I need to let me flip the image here so it looks like he's part of the conversation, and then we can discuss. There we go. All right. Now we could just. Zeke? What do you think? Okay? Cool. He's happy. He's good. He's excited. Great. Fire Emblem. I've tried very, very many times to get into this series. And I think the biggest hurdle was always the fact that it was not voiced fully. And I think that's why
before you continue,
I enjoy
Zeke,
this
what do you
one.
think about it?
Zeke, what do you think?
Oh, yeah? Nice.
Zeke's into
Awesome.
it. Zeke's into it.
Great. I'm sorry, what were you saying?
And so now that this new one is fully, and we need to be very clear. When we say fully voiced, it is fully, the only thing not spoken is the main character's decisions that you make. And some of those are even spoken. But like everything is voiced in this game. So much so that you can see where they cut corners on other aspects of the game because there's so much fucking voice lines in this game. They had to fit on a Switch. So you see like background images that look like they're from the fucking PS1 era.
Paintings.
Yeah. I to call them, they would have to be like watercolor paintings that were then taken with a phone from 2001. Like
they are actually low res pictures. Like you can see the pixels if you look hard enough. It's pretty great.
It looks really bad. Yeah, I'm gonna pull up some early VOD footage from both of us because there's some spoilers in the game, I guess you could say. It's like, would you call it I mean, I guess it is a story heavy game. Let me ask you this: are you playing for the story or are you playing for the gameplay? Because I'm playing for the gameplay.
I was not. Well, I start at the beginning because this is a long answer. You want to finish your thoughts first?
No, we'll just go back and forth. It doesn't matter.
Okay.
Yeah.
So when I first started, I didn't know what I was playing. This is my first Fire Emblem game ever. So I went in with as open of a mind as I could muster. I just said, I'm just going to spend the first few days, kind of let everything wash over me, and then I'll kind of decide what I like about it moving forward. So for me, this game is amazing on all fronts. I like the combat. I like the exploration. I like the customization. I like the endless areas to advance in all directions. I love the open world exploration elements and how they actually reward you for it. I like the social systems. And the more I've played it, the more I have really starting to enjoy the characters. When I first started to do like some of the social links and I was running around talking to people, I got a little worried because I was like, I really want to do well in this game, but at the same time, this seems like it's just going to be way too much exposition, way too much people talking about things I'm not interested in.
And I still kind of feel it is sometimes, but go ahead.
But what I've found is as I've moved into the parts of the game I'm in now, is they start really referencing the first parts. So especially in the social links, like they'll drop like little tiny hints, and sometimes it's not even involving your character.
Yeah.
And then later on, another person will say something not directly referencing that, and you'll be like, "Oh shit, that's what the dagger was," or that's what these two people were doing, or that's what he meant when he said he was related to the other person. And like all these little things are happening kind of in parallel. And then once you really start looking for them, all the time.
Yeah.
So it's even gotten to the point where a non-referenced NPC said something that I later picked up on a non-my character social link. And I was like, oh shit, I remember talking to some dude in the cathedral about that. And it's gotten really cool. So what I've been doing is not only do I fully listen to all the social links, every single month, the first thing I do is go and talk to every single person.
I do the exact same thing. Yeah.
And at first, it's kind of weird because it's worked the opposite for me. Where in most games, I'll start fully invested in doing that, and then it becomes tedious. For me, it started as tedious, and now I'm like, oh, cool, first of the month, let's go. We're gonna go talk to everyone. Like, awesome, let's see what everyone's up to. And it's been pretty wild, man. Also, this is the first game in years that I have skipped lunch for more than 5 days. And I literally mean years. Like the last time I did this was pre-Pathfinder the first time. So like this game's something special, man. It's something really special. There's not a lot of other games I can compare it with. The breadth and the depth of the game is completely uncomparable to most games out today.
Yeah.
It's awesome. You can live in this game. You can literally just
I
live
did
in this.
for 5 days and then realized I need to I need to not play for a while. I need to do other things with my life is more than just playing this game, JP.
Dude, I have set up my lunches for the next 7 days just so I don't have to stop streaming during my stream. And I've warned my entire community and everyone. I'm just like, everybody, like, I'm sorry. I know I normally do split streams. I know it's normally 2 different games, but like this, I'm basically going on vacation in this game. Like I'm beginning to ending it. I'm basically doing 100% single house run, and yeah, it's been awesome.
Yeah,
it's been great.
I haven't played the game since Monday because I didn't play it at all yesterday because we did roleplay Court of Sword and some other stuff, and I had to take the afternoon off because I did 42 hours in 72.
Yeah, and you were streaming as much as I am, plus like 4 hours each day.
Yeah,
and then
it was
one day
too much.
Yeah. You had one stream that was like 16 hours.
It was honestly probably the only time that I can recall in almost 10 years of streaming where I was like, I have actually streamed too much. Like I did, because Thursday I did 13 hours, Friday was 13 hours, Saturday was 12, Sunday was 12, Monday was 11. And I was like, you know what? I have to go see other people. I have to actually eat real people food. Like I got to go and do other stuff. The entire time I'm thinking, I really need to go back and do that one. But it's the type of game where you can't like, and I'm curious if have you started a second playthrough yet?
Oh.
Or like a second save file to play offline? Because I can't play this game offline because everything's so crucial to basically, I don't want to show stuff or do stuff off stream because everything's so crucial to like the core of the game. Everything's so core focused, I guess is what I'm trying to say. That I actually started I started another house off stream.
Really?
Just to because I was so addicted to the game and I just wanted to play. So I've started, and I'm going on vacation I'm traveling on Friday, so I wanted to have a second save file to play anyways. But yeah, it was too much. I had to take yesterday off. With all that said, I was the same exact way where on Friday I wasn't hooked yet. I ended the game on Friday, even after like 12 hours, and it's like, I have a pretty good idea of what this game is. I understand the combat. I understand how the social stuff works. I'm not fully, I don't know if this is an 80-hour thing that I will finish. And then on like Saturday, I don't know what it was, but I think I just something clicked in the combat. and something clicked, and the idea that I was into the social aspects of it, and I just found different things, and I was like, all right, nope, this game's actually really good. Like I've formed an opinion on it, and this game's good. And for whatever reason, it straight up hooked me, because I'm kind of the same way. Like they throw so much at you in those first couple of hours that I feel like I don't know anyone that has gotten like hooked immediately. It's been the type of thing that it's kind of a slow burn, even though you're doing the same things that you do the first 5 hours of the game, 10 hours in. You just kind of understand the circle of life of Fire Emblem.
I think it's a forest for the trees situation, where
It's
it's
what?
like, at least for me, a forest for the tree, like can't see the forest for the trees.
Oh, okay.
Like basically for me, like I was so overwhelmed for the first few hours that I didn't even realize what I was playing.
Sure.
Like, I didn't realize it was going to be like a monthly time management simulator on top of a battle and social dating sim, essentially. Like I just didn't know. I had no global picture of what I was doing. But that's the thing. Just like kind of like you were saying, I think mine was a little bit earlier than yours. Probably because I'm a little bit more into the social stuff. But
Probably.
like once I realized the picture, and I realized where it was like, oh, this is almost like Persona 5 time management. Like, I started like drawing these tangents to other games that I've really enjoyed, and the combat system is awesome. Like, oh, this is Final Fantasy Tactics, except like 10 times deeper. So yeah, like once all the puzzle pieces get together and you can see the picture of what you're putting together, like that's when for me I was just like, dude, this is awesome. And for me it was really, I think it was the first time I said it, I think was day 3. So I think it was that Sunday.
Yeah.
When people were like, oh, aren't you going to go back to Wolfenstein? What about 999? And I just kind of looked at chat and I was like, guys, you're just going to have to give this one to me. This is my YouTube. If you don't like Fire Emblem, get comfy, because it's going to be like a week that you're going to be watching this.
Yeah.
Like this is happening. 999 changed from tomorrow to !soon PM. And that, all the kind of dominoes started falling for that. So yeah. Oh man, it's been fun.
Yeah.
Hey, you're looking great, Zeke.
Are you doing better, Zeke? Are you feeling better?
Never mind.
I don't know, man.
It's still kind of low. Yeah, bitrate's still kind of low. Let me flip you horizontal again, so you're proper and not super close to go. It's definitely better. I'll say that much, and it seems like it's climbing actually much more than it was earlier. So it seems better.
I reset my modem router.
Yeah, Twitch was kind of fucking up earlier, so there might have been some like routing issues in the U.S.
Cat went through a major schism
that was occurring.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. I'm curious if you found the parallels that I found in the fact that for a lot of reasons, the very same thing that got me into really enjoying XCOM got me into enjoying this game. So much so that even though I'm not creating the characters, I still have relationships that are like, I care about how a character does in battle is what I'm trying to get at. Like if a character does well, or I know a character is going to do a certain thing, so I like form personal memes around them and personal like.
Dude, I don't know if you saw in chat,
yeah.
You've got 3 emotes now for this.
Oh yeah. And the funny thing is, in my mind, the 3 people that you have your emotes of are worthless. Like they don't mean anything to me, and in the same way that the characters that I enjoy.
I know what you mean, but there were different ways to say that.
It was said to incite
hurtful.
a response, 100% without a doubt. But they don't call him doo-doo for nothing, Co.
His name? Oh my god.
Doo-doo is just another word for shit. I don't know if you realize that, Co, but
His name is Dead Dude, okay? All right?
Let me talk to you about the good old
His
boy.
true name is Brodu, and if you hung out with him, you'd know why. But you don't. So instead, in your ignorance, you're just going to equate him to poop. Says king shit of all people.
Let me look,
This,
man.
I don't know if I can. I'm feeling pretty flustered right now.
Raphael is a special boy. Okay, all right. He's just a special person. He's
Iconic.
Let me ask you this one thing: is everyone in this game basically an asshole in some way? All the characters have like some really fucked up side of them, except for
Every
Raphael.
house has one.
I have like
Every
10.
house has a dick.
I have
found by
so
watching
many
other streams.
assholes in my group, except for Raphael and Ignatz, who are like the nicest people in the world. So much so that they get taken advantage of by a lot of these fucking characters.
I have my house is full of people that I must protect.
Yeah.
Like I have adorable guys and women that must be protected.
All my
Like
guys are
they're
like unbelievably sexist. Like every single one of them is just a trash human being, except for Raphael and Ignatz, and they're like nice people. Everyone else is just like a fucking womanizing piece of shit for the most part.
I gotta admit, I don't know if I just got lucky, but I'm 90% sure that I picked the best house by far. Just throwing that out there.
Definitely
not only
picked
is my
the most
team,
popular,
not only
I think. Wait,
No,
no,
mine
you're
is
the
the
blue
least
guys. You're the blue guys, right?
mine is literally the least popular.
Really?
Like, according to Nintendo. Yes, they sent out a thing.
Really? I
The
thought
most
yellow
common,
was.
the most common by far was red. Red is the waifu one. That
Yes,
was
that's
like
the most common.
47%.
I would agree with that.
And then
yeah.
yellow is at 25% and blue is at 24%. So
Really?
yellow and blue are kind of like right next to each other, but red is like by far the most popular.
Huh. I didn't see
But
that.
yeah, dude, my house, I love every single dude. We are not a house, JP. We are not the blue house. We are the blue family. And that is because we are all awesome and everyone's great and their social links are awesome. They may have a few bad apples, but everyone does. And I think they'll be realized over time. Like my boy Felix, he's got some issues. He's got some emotion that he's working through. But he's getting through
Felix
it.
fucking sucks.
Slowly but surely he's getting through it. It's okay.
Is
It's okay.
Sylvain in your house?
Sylvain. Yes. Oh, the red hair dude.
That guy's
Yes.
an asshole. He's not a nice guy.
You
What are you
think
talking?
he is?
No,
You
what
see
the?
his sensitive side. You have to give him some time, JP. You got to get to know him.
Dude.
Don't just take a look at the veneer and assume he's a womanizing machine. He is. Don't get me wrong, but he's got the reasons. Like, come on, man, get some depth to this. Like this, what I'm saying. And for the record, actually, real talk here. What we were talking earlier about the characters developing in this game,
Yeah.
Sylvain in particular is a very cool character.
Really?
Because
I've got like
I
B-rank
definitely
social
thought the
links.
exact same thing as you did for like the first 2/3 of my time with him.
Huh.
Everyone he would hit on, a few of his first social links, he's being extremely rude to women and like saying some really pretty not good stuff. But then you start like seeing the other side of him and he starts doing some really bro-y stuff with other people. And then at one point he like breaks down in front of this other girl and goes into the history of why he's the way he is. And like you start seeing these things and all of a sudden these characters become much more interesting. Like my boy Ash, right? Ash, he is like the goodest of good boys. He is like the most ridiculous, like just the best of boys, right? And now up to the point in the story that I'm in, like all of a sudden my boy Ash is getting kind of dark. Like we're starting to learn about like what happened to his family and what he was doing during that time. And like all of a sudden he's asking questions. He's confronting people that may have had something to do with his family's death. And all of a sudden our little good boy becomes not so good boy.
See, my
My
experience with Ash is that I had him for a paralog mission. And for those that haven't played the game, paralog missions are like side missions that are character based, that you can send them out on battles. And so in the paralog mission that I did with Ash, he was not, I don't have him in my party and I don't regularly use him. So he was basically the guy that I would send out to die and then rewind with. Because I have no feelings for him.
Those paralog missions can be rough because you go in with like your level 20s, but then you get a paralog with a dude you've never used and he's like 14.
Yeah.
And then all of a sudden the entire map just becomes you rewinding to make sure he doesn't get his ass handed to him as people just walk by your level 20s to, one shot them. Yeah, I had the same thing with Edel, whatever his name is, the casting professor. Oh, dude. Like I had this one map where he would like my entire army would just perform amazingly and he'd be at the back. And then like a flying unit would like fly over my army and one shot him, and then I have to rewind 2 turns to make sure he wasn't there. Like just that stuff is so.
You're talking about Hanneman. Yes, I did that exact mission where you had to had to protect
my
the
Hanneman
girl.
was low level, so they kept targeting like him over everything else.
I don't use him.
Yeah,
either.
And then of course my like that mission, man, was really
the Fog of War.
That was the one where the girl was also all by herself on that little hill on the right.
Oh,
and it's like, damn, dude. Like, yeah, that was one of the tougher missions I'd have to do so far. Not because it was hard. And this is actually another thing I really like about Fire Emblem. Not because the mission was hard. It's just I had to do it a certain way. And finding that certain way was like almost half the fun of the same as like a difficult map.
Yeah.
Because like all of a sudden it didn't become just face roll all the enemies. It was like, so we have to do the enemies in the right way while making sure she stays alive, while keeping this guy out of the way. Like, all these little factors that have nothing to do with just face rolling the enemy came into play.
Yeah.
That was cool.
Go ahead, Zeke.
Cool. So who is that blue haired guy that I just saw on the screen, and why do I hate him?
That was probably
He has like a blue hair and it's like parted down.
Oh, that
the
was
front.
Lauren's. Lauren's is kind of a piece of shit too. But he,
Okay.
Marianne. I'm trying to get her.
dude, Marianne is a
Actually,
fucking.
let's
I feel like Doc Holliday when I look at him is like, I don't know. Do I hate him? Like, you don't even know him. Yep, I hate him.
So, how do I talk about this? I don't think just saying a name of something and the fact that I killed it is a spoiler. So, I'm gonna go ahead and say it. You know the Death Knight? You've seen him before. I
Yes.
know where you're at in the game.
I've killed him multiple times.
Yeah, the first time I saw him, I killed him with Liz in one shot. That's how strong she is.
In the catacombs?
In the catacombs, he died by Lise. Yeah, I killed him in one shot.
Wow.
It was absolutely
I
insane.
did not kill him the first time I saw him because all I had was units that had to move into range and like, dude, that's wild because like he counters at any range too, right?
Yeah, so it was a straight up one shot. That's why. Yeah. I didn't even, because I didn't get any of the other missions as well. Or, sorry, any of the other chests in that mission. Because when you kill the Death Knight, it's over. And I didn't split the party appropriately to go on that right side because I had all those weird teleporter bullshit.
Well, that kind of sucks.
Yeah, I just didn't explore any of that. So I'm not sure what I missed there.
Well, thankfully, I don't think it was too much.
I
Maybe
think
a
I missed like
weapon.
11 sword, I think is what's in those chests.
Yeah.
And
I think
we
the
can buy those.
dark seal you got at the Death Knight's going to be better than anything you get out of those chests. That's an
so
endgame item.
I have 2 Dark Seals now because I've killed them
Hey.
so many times. Yeah. I've only seen them twice, though.
I have 2. You should have 3.
I haven't seen him a third time. You might be a little bit further than me, which is fine.
Oh,
I'm not sure what month you're on. I think I'm in month 11.
Oh, I just got to month 13, I think, or January, the next month, whatever.
Yeah, you're 2 months ahead of me then, for sure.
I thought you were further than me.
Well, here's the thing. What's your professor level?
Almost A.
Okay, because I got B.
When I was done with the crazy fishing event on the... Oh, no, you are on month 12, because the crazy fishing event is the first week in month 12.
Yes, you're right. Yeah.
So when I was done with that event, I was just over halfway through B+.
Okay, that makes sense. Did you
I
stockpile
went
all
back
the...
and looked at your odds.
Oh, okay.
You ended just over B+.
Gotcha.
Yeah. I think I know why.
What's that?
It's because I had been buying bait and fishing every single month from the beginning, and I got a couple professor levels early. And the thing about professor levels in this game is their snowball effect. So the earlier you get your profession levels, the more free time you get during the day, and the more free time you spend, the more experience you get. So it's cumulative. It gets more and more and
That
more.
makes sense, yeah.
So I was actually like 2 weeks before, so I had 3 or 4 more extra activity things, which then add to all the fishing, get me like almost half a level ahead.
Gotcha.
Yeah, the fishing thing was huge. And by the way, for any Fire Emblem players, fishing is one of the most important skills in Fire Emblem.
It's not just
and I know
Co's
that sounds
affinity to
weird.
fishing. It's actually true.
Fishing is the only thing in Fire Emblem where you can convert currency into professor experience. There's nothing else that does it. So you have to make sure every single month when the vendors open up that you buy every single bit of bait off them and that you fish every single bit of it. Because if you don't do that, if you miss a month, which I saw a lot of streamers do, or you miss 2 months or even 3 months, you're just throwing away experience.
Yeah,
That is like completely free experience.
Gardening's
So,
also
fish
really
Emblem.
good too.
Yeah. Every single week you got to be farming.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah.
That's also how you get
What
gifts.
the fuck are you talking about?
It makes
There's
sense.
Fucking fishing and farming and shit like that.
Dude, gardening.
Okay, hold
Absolutely.
on a second. I have a couple of questions.
Go ahead.
Also, my bit rate is fucking.
You started talking and now your camera's like, wait a minute, hold on. Go ahead.
So okay, you don't get to pick your squad like you do in XCOM.
You do, but they're
get
not
these
customized.
characters.
Customize them.
Absolutely.
Yeah, you don't get to make characters. You get to recruit characters. If that makes
Yes.
sense.
The way that it works, Seek, is there's 3 houses, and each house has 8 predefined students.
Yeah.
But the important thing to note is that even though each student has starting stats and starting skills, from what I understand, you can basically make any student anything from the beginning of the game. Like
can.
you are not
Okay.
limited. So you could make somebody that starts with a sword and some strength into your best caster if you give them enough gear and focus.
It takes
And
longer.
skill.
Yeah.
But hold on a second. Is it like Dragon Quest in that, sure, you're the main character called the Luminary, right? You can make the Luminary do like focus on magic or focus on like sword and shield, but like it's clearly the great sword that is by far the best weapon.
No, not really.
Like that, is it like that?
It's the idea that some things are easier to get, but the reason being is that each time you level up, Zeke, there is a random roll that occurs. There's a seeded roll, I should say, not random. There's a seeded roll. Mm-hmm. There's a rewind mechanic that you can abuse because it save states the seed of that roll. So when you level up of the 8 or 10, how many? 8 or 10?
I want to say 10.
5 on 5.
Might, magic, HP, dex, luck, charm.
10. Charisma.
8.
Wisdom.
And
no.
IBS.
We're just making up shit. Charisma and wisdom. Wait, what?
It's strength. It's strength, not even might. It's 10. It's 10.
Oh, defense. That's right.
Defense and resilience.
Speed. Yes.
Yeah.
Defense, speed, and resilience.
Anyways,
that's it.
Those 10 stats, Zeke, have a random chance of leveling up. So sometimes when you level up, you'll get 1. Sometimes when you level up, if you're lucky, you'll get 7. Co's gotten 0 before. I've never seen a 0. I've only
gotten 1-0 and it drove me crazy. I thought it was a bug.
Yeah, that I would be infuriated. But yeah, so each time you level up, your rolls are random in terms of what they're going to level up. They will level up over time. Characters have not a predefined stat, but they have an affinity for a stat that they will. Yeah, bias is a good way to say that they will excel in. But it's not to say that they aren't necessarily. They can be anything, really. Like they don't have to be that stat.
Now there is one small important thing to mention though. I wasn't quite accurate from what I said that everyone can become every class for 2 reasons. One, the one JP's talking about, the stat growth, but also there are very special things in this game called crests.
Yeah.
And they can be directly related to some certain types of weapons. So there are certain characters where the weapon, the relic of their family is like a spear. In that case, you're going to want that guy to be a spear user.
Sure.
Some mages get like a mage staff, stuff like that. Some of them, you don't necessarily need to use those weapons on the right people, not all the time. They still get bonuses to others, so it's not like you're locked to it. But it's one of those things where the synergy is worth it.
Yeah.
But that's few and far between. That's not for everyone. And like what's also really cool, for instance, Zeke, is like you look at my playthrough and you look at Dan's playthrough, Dan's gaming. We're both playing Blue House, but our armies are totally different.
Yep.
Like he made some of his units different classes completely. He's using different people because one thing in this game you can also do is recruit from the other houses. So you can actually build up social support. Like I'm a Blue House. I could build up social support with Lysithea, who is that glass cannon that JP was talking about. And I can actually bring her into my team and then field her in battle.
Yep.
So there's also teachers you can get. There's third-party people that aren't even related that'll join you. And then some of them even have unique classes. So it's crazy deep. Yeah.
What's the relationship stuff do?
Improves
relationship.
Go ahead.
It does a lot of things. There's social links between characters, and that not only gives you little cutscenes that really tells you a lot about the characters, but that also will allow them to have different synergistic things in battle. And then there's also supports to you, and you personally, your character can have supports to all the different people too. And once you get B-level support, for instance, with anyone in the game, then you can just recruit them to your team. Like normally, each character has a specific set of stats that need to like impress them for them to join your team. So like a caster, Lysithea again, for example, I think she's magic and resilience. So
to start
my
off with,
personal character, Ko, who in my game is a sword authority person, I would need to have very high magic and resilience to normally recruit Lysithea. Or I could take her out to lunch. I could have tea with her. I could give her gifts. I could do all sorts of things to build up her relationship with me. And then if I get that high enough, then she'll just go, oh, I like you as a friend, so I'm just going to join you even though you're not good at anything.
And it's very anime, Zeke. Like, he's not fucking around.
Like cutscenes and stuff?
Yes.
Sure.
Yeah. Full-on
okay, here's where
cutscenes
it
that
gets
are fully
crazy.
voiced.
Here's where it gets crazy. Every single character can connect to every other character. Every single character has at least 2 support with every other character. And every single one of those support levels has a 15 to 2-minute cutscene that talks to those 2 characters only in fully voiced environments about their lives.
Everything is voiced.
You may think that turns me off, but that's actually like a point in the plus column for me.
Yeah, it's
'Cause
a point in the plus
love
column for me, man.
I love
too.
little stupid anime vignettes between characters because sometimes they can be like
That's all this game
Meh.
is ultimately.
That's all this game is.
super fucking cornball,
Dude, that's
like just terrible.
I kid you not. When between me and JP, if you add between me and JP, I can almost guarantee you we've seen over 100 combined
Yeah.
of 15 to 2 minute scenes between characters, just explaining what's going on,
And they range.
divulging things about themselves.
Yeah, they range from just absurd to like heartfelt to this character is just an outright fucking
Disturbing.
slut.
Oh yeah, dude, there's super
They're
over the top
disturbing, yeah.
ones. There's really deep ones. There's just
So
stupid
it's like
funny ones.
reality TV.
So in some cases,
Yeah,
dude, some
yeah,
of them
in some
are
cases.
some of them are dark. Some of them are
Yeah.
there's this Felix guy, for instance, not to spoil it too much. There was this Felix guy who essentially he was like making fun of this other dude for caring that his father died.
Yeah.
Like in a very rude, like not cool way. Like there was another one with the Sylvain guy where he is just really chauvinistic to the point where like it's pretty messed up. Like you'd smack somebody if they did that in front of you, kind of thing.
Yeah.
There's lots and lots
So-
and lots of
So what houses are you guys? You guys are red, blue.
I'm
be
yellow.
then.
He's blue.
Oh,
He's
yellow.
yellow.
Have to be red then.
You'd be red.
Yeah.
Okay.
Red's the most
Which
common.
coincidentally is the waifu
Perfect.
house.
Yeah, so
That'd probably be pretty good for you.
The reason that apparently red is so popular, Zeke, is because the main character is, you play a main character, but the house leader is a female who can use an axe, and that's never been a thing before in Fire Emblem before. So everyone thinks that that's why it's so popular, is because it's a female who uses axe, and axe characters do a lot of damage, and so yeah, that's why.
By the way, I had no idea about this. Apparently, if you're in another house and your character is female, that's why Sylvain will instantly join
Yep.
your team.
I got him in like mission 2 because he's such a fucking chauvinistic pig that he just sits there and like hits
That's
on
great.
you.
I had no idea.
Yeah.
That's
Also,
hilarious.
well, no, I think we both got access to Catherine around the same time. That was.
Oh,
she's
talk
like a.
about it.
So
Jeez.
here's the other thing I wanted to mention. Someone mentioned this to me yesterday in chat, which they told me this because they didn't want me to be upset because they know that I get.
It's
upset
not
at these
the
types of
Catherine,
things.
right?
No.
Just okay.
Yeah. So apparently, with the professors, people like Catherine, Shamir, Manuela, those type of people, they are stronger when you get them at the point in the game that you can get them, but they
Yes.
have a lower cap towards the end of the game, whereas a weaker character at the start will be stronger than
Become
them
stronger.
at the end of the game. Yeah, someone like Cyril, who I think we're both leveling up.
I'm leveling up. Mine's only 15 though. I'm having some problems with that. I've been using Catherine a little bit too much. She has just become obscene in my game, like
Yeah.
where she basically just one shots anything she touches and barely takes any damage.
Yep.
Like and on this map I did 3 maps ago, there were 5 enemies in a corner. So what I did was I didn't even attack any of them. I just
parked
put
her.
Catherine in the middle of the enemies. And every single one of them got killed on counterattacks trying to kill her, and she didn't even end with less than 75% life.
Yeah.
It's just like, what do you even do at that point?
Yeah.
It's like a bomb. It's like throwing a bomb into the middle of
Yeah.
enemies. It's crazy.
The other thing they said is that it's not necessarily going to matter in this difficulty because they're adding 2 more difficulties that are actually where like this stuff will come into play. But I'll probably just take Catherine and Shamir to end game because I like them so much as characters. I'm not going to really matter too much, or it's not going to really matter too much to me. But yeah, I thought that was an interesting point, the way that they kind of handle the balance of that because we're both new to Fire Emblem, so we necessarily didn't know that out of the gate. But
and the big,
I
what I
mean it
later
too.
learned, the big hint is that they have the way you can tell a character is not going to be maximized properly end game is that they are a higher level class than they can currently get.
right.
So, I think all those professors are.
Pretty much every professor is, yeah. What you said your main character is Sword and Authority? What actual
My main
class are
character
they?
is just sword authority. I just made him a sword master.
Oh,
So
same here.
he's
We're
nothing
going down the
special.
same path.
Yeah, but the problem, it's kind of weird because I've done so much prep work and care in making sure that for every single teaching event, I always have people that are max inspiration. Like I always make sure that my goals thing, everyone's the super happiest and everything. What that's inadvertently done is made like my entire team is now AA plus essentially their main stuff, except my guy who I never really get the opportunity to train. So he's sitting there like bottom B plus of sword.
Yeah, my sword's
Like
B
when I
plus.
went
Yep.
to the sword master, it was only like a 70% chance to
Yep.
pass the test. And I'm sitting here like I have no idea. Like I feel like my guy's the gimp. I feel like
My
he's, like,
character is
weakest
not the
of
gimp
my
at all.
party.
What's your
Like, I don't-
crit? What's your crit percentage?
Not a lot. I
'Cause-
don't know if it's anything over normal. Like
My
I don't-
character
it-
walks into a fight and has like 25% crit and just like demolishes people. So much so that the other thing, Zeke, and to people that are wanting to jump into this game, the challenge of the game is not to beat each level. The challenge is to evenly spread the XP from the level that you get by killing monsters across all of your characters. Otherwise, you're going to have very strong characters and very weak characters, and you need balance.
Your characters get a little bit of experience when they attack, but they get a huge block of experience if they get the kill.
Yeah.
So what that will mean is that if you just use the same few guys on your front line, then you'll all of a sudden have a weak back line, and you'll notice that enemies will start targeting your lower level guys. And then all of a sudden, like, because we're playing on permadeath mode, so that can be a big deal. And, thank God there's a rewind mechanic for those situations.
Yeah, there's a limited number of rewinds that you can do that grows, that has growth to it. So I think right now I'm at 7 rewinds. Co might be at 8 because I think he's a little.
I think I'm about there as well.
Yeah.
But what's kind of nice is the rewind mechanic lets you go to any move at any point up to the very beginning of the level.
Yep.
So essentially, you get, if you want, like JP was saying, you get 7 full retries of the map. But what it's better off doing.
Hold on a minute. The permadeath is totally false then.
Well, no, here's the thing though. Like, the way that it works is that if you go into a map and you spend, like, you don't necessarily need to restart the map with every time. It's real easy to spend them, especially if you just make little mistakes or if you want to try something and things like that. So it's not like you go back to the beginning every time. When you're using rewind 90% of the 95% of the time, you're just going back a few moves or maybe even a turn to like get someone out of an aggro radius or make sure someone was healed before a big hit gets taken or something like that.
And a lot of times it's also to correct.
Like
it's also to correct like just random bullshit that can happen. Very few times, like you can get flying knights that are on like Pegasus or dragons, wyverns that have very large movement spaces. So they can like fly in from one side of the fucking map and they deal a lot of physical damage.
Also counter units.
Yeah.
So there will be some units that those flying enemies do like a huge amount of extra damage on.
And they'll just one shot. Like you won't even
yeah.
see them on the map. They'll just fly in, one shot your character, and you're like, well, fuck. Like there's no way for me to know that I shouldn't have moved to that square.
So the
and there's also a
mechanic
bunch of
is
mechanical
not
limitations.
It's not like cheese or anything.
No.
It's built into the game
Not
for
really.
that reason.
Yes, I would say so.
Well, also there's a full reason why you can do it too. There's like an entire main part of the story on why you can rewind time and stuff. So it's not like just something they threw in. Like there's part of it. But like another big thing is, for instance, I have this character. He's my co-easy emote. His name is Dedu, the guy we were talking about earlier. Right? We call him Dad-Do or Bro-Do.
Dude.
Only people that with absolutely no class call him Doo-Doo.
Let it go.
But what he's done in my game, he is the epitome of a physical tank.
Yeah.
There is not a single creature that can deal damage to Dad-Do if they do like arrows or swords or axes. They hit him and it literally just says no damage. And he just looks at him and he goes, weak. That's all he does. It's amazing.
Yeah.
However, I was playing this map that had fog on it, and fog makes it so you can't see anything unless you're holding a torch, which is a specific item.
It's like
So
Fog of
here
War.
with my master tank, I'm just like, oh, let me just move him all the way north. I'm sure he'll be just fine. Like nothing can kill this guy. So I move Dedu all the way north into the fog. I end his turn, which was the last movement on my turn. Right when I ended my turn, the area cleared around where he was, and he was sitting next to one of the strongest mages I've ever seen. Now, there's one thing that Dedu is weak to.
What's
that's
his
magic.
resilience?
So my best tank, my strongest, most powerful unit, the next turn got one shot by this mage. Dead. Like, just gone. So that's one of those situations when I really didn't feel bad rewinding and being like, let me just not go that way. But yeah, so it's stuff like that. The game can be really cheap, but there's a rewind mechanic.
Go ahead, Zeke.
Okay. People were saying it's like there's the rock, paper, scissors mechanics. So like magic, physical, and range or something. I don't know.
There is, but it's not as strict as it used to be.
Yeah. There's like some like a
It
lance
depends on
unit
your
are really good
stats.
against flying enemies. Flying enemies generally are highly mobile and resistant, so they're bad. Like there's the Pegasus Knight is a mage killer class. Very resistant, very mobile, but very glass cannony versus physical, but really strong against magic.
But
a lot of the moves and weapon types will be against like armored units or unarmored units, flying, not flying, mounted, not mounted, stuff like that.
there's a ton of variables there. So your weapon speed factors into how many attacks an enemy can do against you. So like if you have a defense character that has gauntlets, they're going to have much higher attack speed, so they'll only be able to get 1 attack speed in. Plus the amount of damage that they're going to do that character depends on the character's defense. So if you have a mage that has high defense, it's really good because they're going to take less damage from a melee character. So all of that stuff factors into like these level ups that you get. And there's also chances to like, so I had a Raphael who's like one of he's the same thing that Dedu is to Ko, where he's a fucking god, but he's not a tank. He's a war master. And so he'll walk up to people and he uses gauntlets and he'll do 4 times like 25 damage to most units. He'll just go up and fucking just he punches fucking horses and just murders them. And like 1 round never gets hit. But in doing so, his resilience, like Ko's character, was always 1 or 2 because he never got level ups in that. But when I leveled him up from...
I thought it was random.
It is random.
It is random.
But they have like
You
bias.
just never got it.
Yeah, they have bias.
Okay.
But
So
here's... Let me finish this.
ahead.
Let me finish this because the randomness came into play when he leveled up.
Wait, I'm going to let you finish. JP, I'm going to let you finish. But Fire Emblem, XCOM is the best turn-based strategy game.
No.
I'm going to let you...
202 episodes. I've gotten interrupted a lot, so I'm going to finish the statement for once. When he leveled up when he took the class examination to become a war master, because you have to use a skill or you have to use a item to do it, he got a random occurrence of +5 to resilience, which is just like a godlike fucking random roll on a character that had 1
That's the
resilience.
difference between a 1 shot and like a 60% hit.
Yeah. So it was just like absolutely insane. And so now he's just much, much better. So it's that type of stuff where like the randomness makes it fun.
Well, to be clear though, I think when you're I think each class has set stats. So when you actually promote into a new class, I think that is actually fixed.
It's not random though. If you hit like 100, I thought you got a special bonus when you hit 100% on a class examination that it would randomly give you stats. Is that not real?
Oh, I don't know.
I know you get bonuses for becoming a class, but I thought that there was a random occurrence.
I don't think there's any difference between passing an exam at low or doing 100%.
So you get, no matter what, it's always the same? Because if so, then I misunderstood that.
I think.
Everyone in chat's saying it's actually
sure.
random. There is a random occurrence.
I see a wall of no's. What chat are you looking at?
I know, that's what I was making a joke of. So chat is saying that some people are saying that it is random. The stat bonus is random. Because you do get...
Stat bonus is completely random when you level up. Whenever you level up, it's that...
So
that,
let me clarify though, because what I'm trying to say is when I level up, it says like you're going to get X amount of stats. But when I level up, it also, there's a thing that comes up and it says stat bonus. And then it lags for a second. And then it shows you like a random stat or 2 or 3.
Let's be real clear here. Let's not call certifications leveling up.
Okay, sure. When I use
So
a certification.
You're wondering, are the certification bonuses random?
Yes. Not the actual class, not the actual tying class to a character that give you a stat benefit.
Yes, I believe that any stat ups you see inside the certification menu are fixed based on the class that you pick.
Gotcha.
And then all the stuff outside is random with some hidden bias.
Okay. There we go.
Chat, help us out. Yes?
I think everyone's saying that's correct.
Okay, great. Okay, yeah. Now, one thing that's interesting, though, and this is something I'm just learning about, apparently this was in previous Fire Emblem games, and I'm not sure how this goes, is characters do have stat biases inherently you don't get access to. So those are just things that you kind of like find out as you're playing, which is kind of unfortunate because it means you could technically like have if you got unlucky enough, you could have an entire team that's not optimal.
Right.
But
yeah.
But again, I don't know if it's ever to the point where it's like someone will be not affected. I think it just may be the difference between like, that 1 shot or 95% hit kind of thing. So I hope it's not too big of a...
I haven't found, and again, we're playing on the hardest difficulty at release, but it's not really the hardest difficulty because they're going to patch in a thing called Lunatic and Lunatic Plus that is apparently like a min-maxer's wet dream, but it's like
That's for my second playthrough.
Well, apparently someone in chat was saying you go into like the first mission and everyone has silver swords. So it's like actually fucking stupid. Silver swords are like the third tier of swords that you can unlock like 20 hours in, Zeke. So it's like actually stupid difficult, like not fun difficult. So I don't know if I'll ever check that out.
Well, and what's going to be even crazier, and this is an important thing to mention, the RNG in this game is what's called baked in or seeded.
Yeah.
So one thing that's very important to mention is that rewind mechanic is not going to save your character from getting that critical hit on him. Doesn't matter how many times you try to rewind that critical hit, the enemy's going to get it every single time.
But you can alter it.
And you can mess with that.
Yeah.
By attacking from different angles, doing things in different orders, things like that. But if you do things exactly the same way each time, like you will get the exact same results.
And that's for being crit, that's for level ups, that's for everything.
If you change it a little bit, then it will reseed that RNG.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's locked in once you make the same move.
Yes.
The paths are locked in. So unless you divert from the path, then you will always get the same outcome.
So I mean that's not nothing new. I'm used to that from like save scumming and XCOM and stuff like that.
Yeah.
Like when I save scum and I was like, oh, 95% to hit. What? Hold on, let me try that again. Wait, what? Like, oh, that's okay. Once you are in that spot exactly, you're locked into however much like the hit percentage is.
Yeah. Same thing with Mutineer Zero, all those kind of guys.
Yeah.
I like it a lot better. I like it that way.
Yeah,
I was a little confused at first because I was like, well, this would have been a great use for the
like that go. Yeah, I can give you a little. Do you feel that? Feel that? You like that, don't you? Oh.
Well, sometimes Zeke gets a little too personal on the show, but it is
right, baby.
Hey, Zeke.
Now,
can we work on our social links after the show, please?
Jesus.
So would I like this game?
I think so.
I love XCOM. Anime shit is not. I mean, I'm not turned off by it.
I think you will. Here's the best
thing. What's the percentages? What's the percentage between battling, game time played, battling, and not battling?
It changes as you play the game because you can do more battles later as your professor level goes up. I think in the beginning, would you say 65% social, 35% battle? And then it changes to
very accurate. Yes, it is. I'd say about 2/3.
Yeah,
I was going to say 2/3. So
yeah, sure. Okay.
I'd say like it's about 2/3 to 1/3 of social and battle. Now, what's really interesting though is it is kind of a persona system as you get further into the game. So one thing I was noticing is I was watching another streamer, and the way that it works is you basically have a month, and the weeks are kind of auto. But when it gets to a weekend, it gives you a big choice. You can either explore, you can seminar, you can rest, which I've never done, which is kind of like skipping, but you get some stuff back.
I've done it once.
Or you can, it's explore, seminar, or battle. Now, if you explore, that gives you this entire little mini game where you can go out, you can talk to everyone.
That's this right here.
Quest in the area. This is exploration.
Yeah.
So you can fish, you can garden, you can talk to people, you can work on social links, you can eat, you can do fire practice, you can go to the arena and participate in the tournament that's going up. There's online elements. It's huge. That's exploring. You can also spend a week doing a seminar, which is like where you pick a professor that is good with a skill, and he will pull in some random students, and that'll get them social links and better skill stuff there. But then the third one is where it gets interesting, because instead of doing either of those, you can just straight up go battle. You can literally just say, I don't want to do that, and I'd rather get levels for my guy. So what I was talking about at the beginning, I was watching another streamer, and what he's been doing is he's been prioritizing battling. I prioritize exploring. So if I need people to be happier for teaching, or if I have anything at all I need to do, I almost always explore. But this other streamer has been almost always battling. And what that's done is it's made his game more combat-oriented. His units are higher level than mine. We're at the exact same point in the game. His units are higher level. But my professor level is almost a full level ahead of his. So we're both progressing in the game. He's spent more time on combat and has better combat-oriented people. I've spent more time being social, and my social status is a lot higher. Social abilities are a lot higher in the game, and there's more going on there. and we're both very powerful in our own different way.
Yeah.
And it's all because of how we decided to do it. I
Now-
barely do any seminars. Some people swear by them. So it's kind of like there's a lot of customization in terms of not only how you play the game, but then the effects that has on your actual full play.
There was something I was going to ask, and I kind of got lost in looking at what was going on.
Oh, in the screen.
Yeah.
Well, let me do this. You can think about the question because.
Oh, that's what I was going to ask.
Okay,
I got it now. How does time pass? Does it pass like in Persona? Like you only have, like in Persona, you had 3 sections of the day. You had morning, afternoon, and night to do shit, and you can only do 3 things, and then you have to advance the day.
It's a little different.
That fucking cat actually you go to bed.
It's very similar but different.
Very similar.
In how
The
it's
way that it
structured.
works
Okay.
is you only get like every weekend you get that choice. Explore, blah blah. A good way to think about it is explore is almost exactly the same as the Persona 5 day. Where when you see that thing at the top right now, it says 1, that is your activity amount. I don't know what they call them.
Activity, yeah, something like that.
Activity numbers or whatever. That number up there dictates how many things I can do that weekend. So that number could be taking some people out to lunch. It could be choir practice. It could be it could be fighting in the arena. It could be all sorts of. It could be just training me. In fact, a very important thing to mention is during these explore sessions, that's how you get your character more skills too, by going to trainers and you spend time training it. But unlike Persona, that number at the top is directly related to your professor level, which starts at like E, and you can get up to A. And it goes like A, it goes E, D, D plus, C, C plus. And every time you go up in a rank, you get more of that bank. So like at my point, in my game, I have like 8 things that I can do.
I think
so when I go exploring, like I can train myself 3 times and take 3 people out to food and go to the arena and like do choir practice. And like I can go all over the place and do stuff. But at the beginning of the game, you only get like 1 or 2. So it's that thing where depending on how much time you want to put on it, you will either get more of these and be able to do more, or like that other streamer I was talking about, he hasn't been focusing on his professor level. So his number of things to do each weekend is less than mine. So he focuses on battling and stuff.
Okay.
Things like that. It all depends on what you want to get better at.
Yeah.
Can you? Oh my God, this is gonna be like a multiple 100-hour game, isn't it?
It is. If you play all 3, a full playthrough is playing all 3 houses, and it's like 300 hours. But one playthrough is for, I think, a non-Zeke playthrough, as you would say, I think is about 70 to 80 hours. Like I'm 42 hours in. I think Ko's around the same.
I'm being told from people that know the end of the game and how long it takes, I'm being told that my playthrough is on par to be between 120 and 140 hours at the rate that I'm playing. And I have to say this, I'm loving every single minute of it. I after the first day, I have not had a single moment where I felt like it's dragging or I felt like I'm not having a good time. Like every day I wake up and I'm like, awesome, Fire Emblem, let's go.
Yeah.
Like, let's do it.
It's
Skipping lunch.
It's addicting.
8+ hours, let's do it. I can't wait to do it tomorrow. I was so sad I had something to do this afternoon. I just wanted to play Fire Emblem all day.
That's what I was like yesterday.
I was like, "Hey, are we having the show today?" Because I mean, I could just play more Fire Emblem.
Yeah.
Like it's not. It's a wildly fun game.
Yeah.
If you let it hook you.
There are definitely negative things about the game, though. I will say. I don't know if Ko will say that, but I will say that.
Oh yeah.
Like
for sure.
we joked around about the fact that there's some background images and a lot of this like cinematic. I wouldn't call it cinematic. A lot of this dialogue portions where the background looks.
I need a beer.
Okay, the background looks like it was made from like the early 2000s, and there's trees and log formations that are just like bent, not because the art just looks bad. And I think what a lot of people said is because there's so much audio on the game itself, that they had to cut back on a lot of the like file sizes for these images. So that looks a little bit rough.
Also, something that drives me absolutely crazy is there are so many, probably a good 4 or 5 times in this game where I hit them every single day, where I so need more information than I'm given to make decisions.
Yes.
Or I need to know,
Dude.
like trying to maintain. You get
The
so
UI
many
is sometimes
items.
bad, man.
Yes, it's just frustrating.
Yeah.
Like especially trying to manage your convoy, like you can't sort the list easily. So it's like you get all these rusted weapons and broken weapons, and some weapons aren't full durability, and some are. And like there's like that's what I spent like 30 minutes at the beginning of DF today.
Yeah.
I was just working on my inventory, so I wouldn't have to do that on stream tomorrow. Just putting items, selling things, clearing them out, reforging new ones, repairing things. Also, there are these really annoying times when there are certain events that can build support between your characters, but as you get to mid game, their support gets capped. So, like when you're going out to eat with somebody, you want to make sure that you pick people that aren't maxed with each other. Well, there's no way to tell if people are maxed with each other unless you go back 3 screens and go forward 2 more.
Yeah.
You have to look through that thing to figure out who's maxed or not. Then go back 2 screens, forward 3 more, and it's just like they had just put that info right there.
Like it's
No, that like after playing 100 plus hours of Dragon Quest, like the menu and the UI is like, it gives me fucking flashback nightmares.
There's no
of,
sorting in this game.
Sorting equipment and sorting items.
Very
And just like,
sorting.
what in the fuck were they fucking thinking?
Yeah.
It's so ridiculously bad.
There's no sorting in this game whatsoever, and it's infuriating. It
The
really
only
fucking sucks.
good sorting I've found at all is the battalion menu, because it lets you sort your battalions by their rate and their might and attack. So it's really easy. You can just be like, well, I want the most attack on this guy. X 3 times, physical attack max, boom, put that on. But then, of course, the one time it works well in the battalion menu, it doesn't sort by level properly. So it's like you never know if you're putting on a max level with his attack all the way up or like a slightly not max level. So it's like this one could be better. Like it drives me crazy.
Yeah, I agree with all that.
And don't get me wrong, even with all these inventory issues, they're minor. The amount of fun you'll still have in the game.
Yeah, I mean we didn't mention it, but there's mentioned a battalion system, so you can add on like an entire subclass to each unit on the field that'll boost different stats and have a special ability. There's an inventory system, so you can equip certain items on your characters. You can equip certain sub items that'll boost their attack. You can get these
this is the gambit. You can see all those little
here's
guys.
a gambit. Yeah.
Basically, a gambit is like a detachment from an army.
Those are part of battalions
on a character. So you can have a guy like I have on my dancer Dorothea. She has a battalion of peasants, and their gambit is they wheel forward a giant barrel of poison barrels and detonate it. So it's like they explode into poison everywhere in front of them.
Yeah.
It's
and those gambits come into play more so than other times when you're fighting specific unit types, is how I'll phrase that. So you'll want to save them.
Let's spoil that.
Yeah.
That was a pretty fun reveal.
I saw you doing a mission later on where you're fighting. I saw you doing a mission that I've done before that is one of the like rare boss spawn missions or whatever. And it was a fun mission, to say the least.
I know exactly which one you're talking about.
I watched you do it fully because I was like, I want to see how he approached this, because I approached it one way and I thought it went all right. And then I saw you do it and I was like, fuck, I didn't think about doing that, but he's having trouble with that. I didn't have trouble with that, but I did have trouble with this and he's not having trouble with that. So, yeah.
All I have to say is I'm sure you said, yeah, do.
Right. So Hilda is my tank. And Hilda's the type of person that's like, you're going to stand right here and just stand. Don't move. Here's a tomahawk. You can just throw it at people, or here's a regular axe.
I'm sure when you were watching mine, you were probably thinking, "Oh,
yeah,
I didn't put a ranged weapon on him."
Yeah.
Oh my god, drove me crazy.
Anyways,
drove me crazy. Yeah, it's also something kind of fun. Is all of the melee units have a weapons type that will give them a little bit of range. So, like an axe user can use hand axe. A javelin user, a spear user can use javelins.
Yeah.
And then a sword user can get a magic sword called a Levine blade or something that can like shoot lightning everywhere. So it's like even though they're not ranged units, you can still give them a little bit of ways to recover. Which
there's also and I'm curious, and I guess maybe this is spoiler territory in terms of the items that you can get, but I was watching you play and I know you didn't have this relic. So if you don't want me to tell you about this relic for another house, then by all means tell me to shut up.
Fine, go ahead.
I got a relic for Lise that is a mage staff that gives her +1 range on all of her mage abilities. So now she can hit a thing 4 abilities away, or 4 squares away instead of 3 away. And it does like 90 damage. because she has Hades or some crazy ability. Fuck, it's nuts.
That's wild because I actually got
You got a
relic
shield,
like that.
I think.
No. I got a relic like that, but for someone else.
Really?
Yeah, I got it for the green-haired chick.
Oh, you got it today. Did you do the
My
paralog mission?
My hair drills will pierce the heavens. Yeah, I can't remember her name.
I do the same. Yeah, I make the Gurren Lagann reference with her name as well.
Flan, thank you.
Yeah.
Yes, Flan. Flane. Yeah, so I actually got a thing for her today. Funny enough, it's
Was that
just
from
like
the
that.
paralog
Like-
mission?
Yes.
Okay, so yeah, that is something you get across the board. I saw
cool.
you had an
Okay.
Aegis shield though. Where did you get that shield from? Because I don't have
was
that.
for Felix's mission, and dude, that thing's incredible.
Oh.
Not only does it add defense and resistance, but every time he's attacked, there's a chance to just half the damage, and it happens all the time. You'll just see
Wow.
like guarded, and the damage will be half.
I don't have that. Fuck. I
Really
don't have
good.
that. I
And
need to get
Felix is
that.
kind of glass cannony by himself anyway. He's probably one of my strongest sword users. He's also one of my fastest sword users, so it really works well.
Fuck, I need to do that.
And just for anybody who's watching me and watching my face and stuff like that while these guys are talking about this, don't assume I'm lost. Don't assume I don't care. Fuck you. I'm paying attention. I'm keeping up.
Yeah.
I know this type of shit. So,
Dude,
suck it.
you have been 10 times more invested than you are for things you aren't interested in. You kidding me?
Yeah.
Yeah, like this isn't Kingdom Hearts. This is tactical turn-based combat shit. That's right in my wheelhouse. It's not real
ready for
time.
this?
It's not real-time strategy. It's turn-based. It has anime shit. You can date and get fucking like role-play shit. How's the music?
Actually really good.
Good. Oh god, it
It's
gets stuck
actually
in your
really
head.
good. Yeah. Here's the thing, is it loops. Yeah, it loops on like maybe a 2-minute cycle, and you don't. I've never once said like, "Fuck, I hate this song." I've always said like, "Oh shit, this is the good part of the song." So it's
love
really
it.
good.
It's-
Yeah,
It's that kind of music that's like not the best, but it's definitely the kind that'll get stuck in your head. You know, because it's just like
Yeah.
you kind of find and it's that kind of music that you'll constantly find yourself just kind of banging your head along with. You know, it's not nearly as stylized, but it's similar to Persona 5.
some of the battle tracks are really good though. Like really.
Oh yeah, I
epic
agree.
sounding,
I agree.
I
There
would
is
say.
some excellent music in it.
Yeah.
But yeah, just similar to some of the main story events, there's also some kind of tropey normal. Like
Yes. Yeah.
I will say that this game definitely is all about the flags. If you're looking for them,
Yes.
they use flagging rather liberally in this game. So it's the kind of thing where it's like, well, I'd love to talk to you, maybe sometime down the road, but we'll have to see what happens. You know, hopefully we'll get through this fight. Yeah, that guy's dead. It's just like they kind of like level it. They layer that on sometimes.
Yeah.
But
If I were
I
to
think that's
die,
like-
I'd put all my stuff here.
Yeah,
So in case you ever want to, just if I die, go look in the bookshelf. You'll find something. If I die, I'm not going to say that I'm about to die, but I'll say it one more time: die. And you're like, all right, thanks, man. We'll see you in a mission or two, maybe. Who knows? I don't know what's going to happen. You said die a lot though.
Yeah.
That was weird. Yeah.
Why would you ever say something like that?
It's kind of silly.
But in the same, that being said, although there are some campy, call-able things, there are definitely some things that will catch you off guard.
Totally. Yeah.
There are many times where I've been very surprised by what has happened. So, and I've heard it only picks up as you go through the story. I had somebody tell me that it had basically been no lifing this game for like 20 hours since release, that they were incredibly happy with the end. So they said like it goes from 0 to 60 as you get closer to the end. So I'm considering how much I've liked everything so far. Like
Yeah.
I can't wait to see what they were talking.
I had a tiny bit
Now-
spoiled for me, and I'm excited to get to the point that was spoiled for me, without a doubt. But I'm not going to say what I was
Yeah,
spoiled about.
I actually did too. It's 2 words, T and then S. That's what you're talking about.
Yeah. Go ahead, Zeke.
Are there all the characters in that recruitable by any house or whatever?
Yes. Eventually, all students can be in any house.
Okay.
Well, 90% of students can be in any house. Some houses are restricted in terms of who they can get. Some houses get some people very easily or instantly. Other houses can't have some people. So, like for instance, there's this really strong unit that I think JP is also using, Catherine. And
Yes.
Catherine is a really great sword instructor. She's a really cool character, has a badass backstory. It's just pretty odd. She also has gorgeous hair. But you can't
She
get
does.
her if you play the red side. I don't know why, but I know that you can't get her. So
Okay.
like there's also a bunch of like little story related stuff. Like the person we were talking about earlier, this guy, that's Sylvain. He loves women. So if you pick a woman as your main character and you don't pick his house, then he'll just instantly join you. But if you pick a guy, then you have to go through all the normal stuff, either getting your skills to match his or getting his support to be, and
Okay.
you know, so there's lots of different things like that. Some people are house restricted though, so it is important that not everyone can go everywhere, but like
Is it-
90% of
Yeah.
Is it balanced?
completely.
Like
Yeah, it's
as
very
far,
well
no.
balanced.
I mean, is it balanced as far as like the characters you can't get? Like, is there a character?
You're saying is there a
that
best house?
Is there what?
Is there a best house?
No. Well, sort of. I'm asking, is there a house? Does every house have characters they can't get?
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay.
But it's
That's
like
all I
Every
wanna
house has
know. Like,
characters
it's
that
a
they
few
are
No matter
better.
what house you pick, you're going to miss out on some character.
Yes. There is no house that is better than the others. There are 3 houses. They, from what I understand, the devs went meticulously tried to balance all of them, so there would not be a best house. It is much more a flavor thing and much less of a this will decide the course of my game thing. It's also important to mention that each house has similar loadouts for their armies,
yeah.
and it's also very important to mention that you can basically change anyone into anything you want. So it's very, very customizable. So you're not going to get gimped by picking a house, and I don't think you're going to have a particularly easier time picking a house. Although I will say that all this being said, Blue House is the best house by far.
I mean, he's doo-doo for a reason. It's my counter.
Red House. I think maybe.
I don't know who the powerhouses are for Red House. I think the main character is actually really strong. Edelgard or whatever, she's really strong.
Dude, when I fought Red House during the big fight of the thing, Petra was amazing.
Oh, I've been trying to recruit Petra for
Ernie
fucking
was
months.
amazing.
I can't get her goddamn social level up. She just keeps refusing me. It's pissing me off,
Well,
man.
dude, you've got to gift giving is huge. It's huge.
She is like, I've had social missions with her twice now, and she still will not join me. And it's fucking, I've given her like 1 billion items, and she's like, actually,
Dude,
no.
if you get the way that it works is you eating lunch with them is a great way to get stuff.
Yeah.
Giving gifts and lost items.
I've given
And
like
once you
20
get-
gifts.
Once you get now hold on. Now here's where it gets a little confusing though. Once you get a character up to their support thing,
Right.
even though the game will tell you you're making advantages, you're just wasting them at that point.
Oh.
So you have to make sure that right when you open up a social link, you immediately do it, and that's the only way you can progress past it. So, for instance, if you build up to social rank C, and then you don't do the link, and then you just keep giving them gifts, you are literally just throwing those away.
No, because I did the social link thing, had the cutscene with her, went to recruit her. She said no again. I gave her more gifts, went to recruit her. The next month she said no, and now I'm going to try again in like
Oh no,
the next
you
week.
you only get the guaranteed recruit after the social event for B. So it's and it's not for every character, it's just for most characters. So if you give her a bunch of gifts until the second the C link opens up, you play that, you give her gifts, eat with her, give her lost items until she gets to the next social, which is B, play that, and then after you played B, you theoretically, not for everyone, but you should be able at that point to recruit.
Gotcha. Yeah,
Are you basically
I might not have it then.
telling how to do this?
Yeah, that's what I'm asking.
Yeah, that's what I asked.
Oh, okay.
This is how it works with every character. This is not just her. This is how
I didn't, because like I said,
every
I was
character.
confused because I did the whole social thing and she didn't want to join, which in my mind I thought that was how you do it, but I didn't know you had to go all the way to B. So
some characters you have to go further than B, and from what I understand, some characters are always somewhat dependent on stats. So there are a handful of characters that you just need to have the proper stats with.
gotcha.
I don't know who they are, but yeah.
Cool.
Okay.
It's also now it's another thing to mention though is you don't need to recruit anyone.
You don't.
You don't need to recruit anyone at all.
I
In
just want
fact,
Petra because she's cool looking.
Me too. I'm the same way. I'm trying to get Bernadette. That exact same.
Nah,
Bernadette is my
fuck
spirit
that.
animal.
She's a
She's amazing.
she,
How dare you? You're
She is
just
a
like
goddamn-
the worst person.
she is a shoo-in. I will take Lisa 1,000% of the time.
I
Always.
want to have these fights with you, guys. I want to
Damn it.
fight with you on Bruce's
Bernie's like apparently
I feel left
beloved.
out.
She's like the number
She's
3
amazing.
recruited character.
Dude. You haven't seen her B support or her B thing yet. You don't know why Bernadette is the way she is, and I bet if you did,
That's
you'll
probably
different.
true. That's the other thing is I've turned on characters. So there's a character named Ignatz. It's I-N or I-G-N-I-T-Z. Yeah.
Ignatz and
He looks
Yeah.
like a fucking moron. Just the putziest looking character. And I was
The
like,
worst.
God, this guy's fucking the stupidest character. I'm never going to use him. And then I like got to his social story thing. I'm like, oh shit, this guy's kind of a badass. And I was using him for a while. And then I got someone else and I was like, well, I got to bench you. Like, you're going to live, I guess. That's one way. You'll never die, but you're never coming back into the fight with me. I'm sorry, buddy. I had to bench him. So, yeah. I've flip-flopped on a bunch of different characters. He got replaced by... what is the cool ninja archer chick? Professor? What's her name?
Oh, the one that barely talks.
Yes.
Shahir or whatever.
Shahir, yes. That's who I replaced him with. Yeah, she's badass.
I like her. She's good. I still like my Ash better than her, only because Ash is the goodest of boys.
Oh, boy.
But I like her too. She's actually a superior archer. Then again, that's only because she, just like we were talking about earlier, she's one of those people that starts like
Yeah, she's a
really
professor.
strong.
She already has A+ when you get her. Or
When
A.
I first got her with Ash, it was like night and day. It was like master and apprentice. Like it was almost to the point where I was just like, I love you, Ash, but I have to let you be free. Like
Right.
I have to send you to pasture.
Yep.
But sure enough, just like we were talking about, I stuck with Ash. And I've now been playing with Ash over her for like the last 20-ish hours or so. And he is now getting to the point where you're starting to see like, oh, okay, I'll do 2x29s at a range of 4.
Yeah.
Like that's fine. I'm okay with this.
Yeah,
He's
I just
catching up a little bit.
I can't bring myself to bench Shamir. So.
Oh, Shamir. Thank you.
Shamir.
Yeah,
Shamir. Yeah, however you pronounce it. Anyways,
I think it's actually pronounced Shimon.
I make that joke all the time. Anytime she does something well, I make that joke. Yeah. Yeah.
See, look, this is how it used to be. See that little dinky shot?
Yeah.
Like,
Well, the
like,
archers all
he was
start
terrible.
out like for
Yeah,
a while
everyone's pretty
there. Claude just was a stride bot. Do you have stride? Do you have the stride gambit yet?
I have stride on 2 characters.
Yeah. God, it's so bro. It's a 3 by 2 by
Cross.
1 cross,
Yeah.
and it buffs all of the movement speed by like 5, I think.
5.
Yeah, for
Nuts.
each units that it hits, Zeke, so you can like use that, hit a bunch of your units, and then you can move the entire fucking map most of the time.
What's super cool is stride is a gambit,
Yeah,
which means that it is on a battalion, and battalions you can put on anyone. So you essentially can just give this stride ability
Yep.
to anyone on your team, and then they will have that ability in their back pocket to cast whenever. So like I used to have stride on my archer, and everything was great. And then I realized, like, wait a second, if I put this on a mounted unit, then not only could I cast stride, but then I'd be able to move after casting it, because I'd have move left over, because that's the thing with cavalry units. They can move, do an action, and if they have any movement left over, then they can still move. So it's like all of a sudden I can now position myself better. I get to move more afterwards. Like it's just all these little things, man. I honestly think, I know this is kind of weird to think about because of how deep it is. I think this game might be a little bit deeper than XCOM.
Oh, 100. I will 100% say it is.
Yeah.
100%.
It's kind of weird to talk about.
There's
'cause
just
XCOM's a
more
pretty damn
stuff.
deep game.
Yeah.
But I think there's just more in this game.
Yeah.
Which is pretty cool. So that's been, I mean, considering the reason I loved XCOM was the depth of it. Like this has been awesome
Yeah.
learning this game and how everything works. I'm 40 hours in. I'm still learning new things
Totally.
every single
I just
day.
learned a new thing
I
in this
learned-
broadcast. 40
I know,
hours
right?
in.
You get like a laundry list of new things every day.
Yeah.
It took 30 hours for them to introduce one of the core enemy mechanics.
Yeah.
Which is like this entire new type of enemy with entire new way. It had 8 tutorials on just how to fight this new enemy type.
Yeah.
30 hours in.
Yep.
It's awesome.
You're not wrong. One other thing, and then I think we're done with Fire Emblem, at least for this week. There is multiplayer, but it works in a very peculiar way, which I actually think is a really cool way. It has 2 effects. One, I don't know if there's any on screen right now. Do you play with multiplayer on Co?
I do.
Okay. So the
I
multiplayer
think
is
there needs to be a different word for this, to be honest. But yeah, anyway.
yeah, the online component. It's
Online
not
component. There
multiplayer.
we go. Yeah, thank
But
you.
the online component, Zeke, is you can find two on the squares there on the tiles in the map. It can either have a purple or a yellow icon. If it's a purple icon, it means that someone has defeated an enemy there and it'll drop an item. If it's a yellow little flare thing, it means that someone's enemy or someone's unit died there and you'll get XP if you stop on it. If
Real
you
quick,
end a
If
turn.
you want to see any of them, I didn't activate it for the first stream. So you'd have to go to either one of your streams or another stream if you wanted to show them.
Gotcha. Yeah,
let me know.
I'll try to see if I can show off some of the other components too. And then the other component is, well, there's two other. When you're tasked with making a decision, if you want to explore, have a session, what's it called? Seminar, or battle, it'll tell you the percentages that everyone else did there. So it'll tell you like 55%
really
of the people battled in this particular point in this particular game, which is really cool, I think.
Like Persona.
Yeah, it's awesome that they give you like, because for me it's like, well, what do I want to do here? They only have one bonus, but is that bonus really worth it? And now I could just look at the little percentage. It's like, nope, 85% battled here, so you should probably battle. Like most people are battling at this point, which is cool. Or you can say, fuck what everyone else is doing. I'm going to do something completely different. It helps
done that
guide your
multiple times.
decisions. Yeah.
Like for exploring, I've frequently prioritized exploring over battles where other people have done battles that day.
Yeah.
And that's one of the reasons my professor is higher and my normal levels are lower.
Yeah. Yeah. And then the third thing is there's in the explore thing, mode, whatever, decision, there's a unit there that you can go and talk to. And I forget the terminology, and Co might remember it a little bit better than I, but you can basically select a unit of yours that then you can put an item on, and that unit and item will show up in another person's game so that they can either recruit them or they can buy the item off. And when you go back and like bring the character back to your world, you'll get the money or they'll be able to use that unit. The way to abuse this, I don't know if Co's done this, but I have 70,000 gold right now in my game because I've abused this, because you can put a seal on that character, and seals are capped at certain points in the game to how many you can buy from a merchant. Usually it's 3. And so if you put a seal on there, that means that people can get 4 in 1 month because of the fact that it's on this thing. So people will always buy them. So like I sent it out on, I think it was out for like 24 hours of real time. When I brought it back, it gave me 30,000 gold, which is a fuck ton of gold.
That makes 0 sense. Like you are literally selling copies of something that you can't get in your game.
Right.
Like
it's
totally not
honestly
be
a little
allowed.
like if you don't have the Nintendo Online Pass, you can't get this. So in a sense, I guess the argument could be made that it's a
There's
little
no
pay to
argument,
win.
JP. No.
It's a
no,
little
it's
pay
no-
to win. It's a little pay to win.
Oh,
But
well,
it's a little bit.
I'd say it's more a bug. I wouldn't call it pay to win. I'd say
Like,
it's more of a bug. Like the thing is what should happen is the first person to buy it,
It
that
should go away.
disappear from everyone else's game. Yeah, the fact that multiple people can buy it, again, it doesn't make any sense. But here's the thing: that's really cool that you're doing that with that. That's how it works with every item on there. Like you can get one super rare sword, and then you could sell that, and all of a sudden you're selling multiple copies of it to people all over the world. And it's like, but there's only one super rare sword.
Yeah. The caveat is though that if you put that unit or if you put that item on that unit, it's gone. You will never see that item again. It's gone completely.
Yeah. I mean, you're essentially copying it as you sell it, so that's still super lucrative.
Yes, totally. But I'm saying like you can't sell the best sword and still use it. Like the sword is gone from your game then at that point. But with Dark Seals,
that's when you log into your second account and you go buy it from yourself.
I wonder if that would. I wonder how it populates.
I don't think you can, 'cause you can't decide what travelers are in your game, but it would be hilarious.
I wonder how it populates the 4 travelers that show up in your game if you can like constantly reload those. You know what I'm saying?
I actually wondered the same thing. What's even weirder is many times I'll see travelers that aren't associated with a person, and I don't know what that means.
Yeah,
like,
I don't know.
I'll see somebody with a unique avatar of a class that's not normally that person, with a item on it that has a cost on it. But here's the thing: I decided early that I wasn't going to touch that system.
Yeah.
Because again, the balance is super weird. I'll never forget the first time I looked at it. There were 2 travelers, and both of them had swords that I hadn't yet gotten in my game.
Yeah,
And it's
I've
just
seen
like
that twice.
this isn't supposed to happen. Like
There
this
was
is like
a
I saw that and stayed away from the whole system.
there was someone in my game that had like a piece of meat, and the piece of meat was like 8,000 gold or something to buy, but it gave permanent, I think a permanent speed and permanent HP boost when you eat it or something like that. And so I was like, man, maybe I should buy this, or maybe I like, that's kind of, it's a little game breaky. I think if you get that stuff early on, you can really like overpower a character.
I think you can get those randomly from cooking, and I know you can randomly get stat boosts from gardening. 'Cause
Yes,
that's
yeah.
what the whole cultivation thing is. That's why you always want to max cultivate, is because you can get many very cool stat ups from gardening and stuff.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
So that's kind of the online stuff. I do
Oh, and-
recommend the
and
stuff
third
for
thing,
fighting.
If you're interested in this, you can go up to that online guy, and you can tell him that you're going to hide somewhere
I
in the
did
world.
that
and he can-
once.
I know, I did that once too.
Apparently, we hit our guys in the same exact
I'm
place.
gonna say Search 2 did it better.
Yeah. Apparently, we both hit our guys in the exact same spot in the spa up the stairs where there's no
Oh,
characters.
on the right side?
Yeah. That's immediately where I went. I was like, I guess this is gonna work.
There's nothing ever up there ever.
Yeah.
Every single month I've gone up there to look for items, and every month I come out with
So
just a little bit more disappointment.
I think let's not recheck, because I think something spawns there, because if you look on the map, it's called the spa. And so I think that's going to unlock something.
It'll open up later. I'm guessing there'll be an event or something.
That's what I'm
where we
thinking
go
too.
in there.
Yeah.
Yeah, kind of like the sauna in Danganronpa. Oh well. But anyway, yeah. I'm sure it'll open up.
Yep. A bunch of people in chat are asking if this is a Switch seller. I think so. I think the Switch in general is a phenomenal, for the games that are on the Switch, it's phenomenal. Indies, the first party stuff is crazy. Yeah, it's a hell of a console, and it's the cheapest console right now. Doesn't have the best graphics, but yeah, Fire Emblem I think is a pretty good system seller for it, I would say. Although I would wait, because they're getting there's new Switches. There's a new SKU coming out in August that actually has a better battery and a better CPU, I think. I'm not sure.
Wait, that's not the mini?
There's two. There's one that you can't detach the side things, that's only portable or something like that. And then
Yeah, that's the mini, right?
they're also upgrading the normal Switch SKU to have that better battery life, I think.
You're gonna have any more power?
I don't think they're gonna get more. They're gonna get stronger, or higher CPU. Blah blah blah. Better hardware.
That's the only thing. If they came out with a stronger Switch, I would actually be interested.
That was a part of the rumor that came out when these other SKUs were also being leaked, was that they're gonna have a stronger Switch. We'll probably see one for, what's the big Switch game that comes out this year besides
Astral
Fire
Chain?
Emblem? What?
Oh, this year. Astral Chain is next month.
There's something out this holiday season. Pokemon. That's right. They might put out a new one for Pokemon. But
that'd be a good one.
yeah. Anyways, that's Fire Emblem. That's an hour and 20. It takes about as much time to play it as it does to talk about it, because there's so many fucking systems in it.
I gotta admit that was a really fun discussion. Like I kind of really hope Zeke plays it, because I think it'd be really fun to just have like all three of us in the three different houses.
Yeah.
Like having this giant game under our belt. Like I think we could do a whole episode at that point.
Without a doubt.
Well, we're not doing a show next week, right?
Correct. Yeah.
No.
So we'll have a lot of time to play it.
So I'm gonna like go away from anime for a minute. Like with Iratus, I took like 3 days to play that, and I'm gonna probably pepper in an older game, like something vintage, maybe a CD-ROM game, or something a little older, and then after that, I think I might pick up Fire Emblem.
I will say,
Nice.
What is that?
It just came in. It's a Valve Index.
Oh, nice. Yeah, I knew those were shipping. I'm curious to see. Play that before the next episode, or set that up before the next episode.
Okay.
I have a lot of questions about it. Zeke, from a streamer perspective and from like a business side of things, Fire Emblem does pretty bad numbers. It depends if you're in top spot. If you're in top spot, it's fine, but that's true for most games. But as you go down, it's like generally lower viewership, I would say by 30-40% of most streams that I've seen. And I have a theory, which is why I bring this up. And it went really well when I brought it up on stream the other day, so I'm going to discuss that said theory before we do questions of the week. My theory is, when you compare this game to something like XCOM, right? I think they're pretty comparable. In XCOM, you create the characters and they can name them like Day 9 or Zeke and
Right.
Co. And you have like, people are interested in seeing those characters do well or fail, blah, 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 die, etc. And they get attached to that. In Fire Emblem, since all the characters are set, people don't like to see people play with their waifus because it's their waifus, right? So that's why people don't watch it, because they don't want to see how you mistreat their favorite character.
I get you.
So
I get you.
I think that's why it has that, and it's very story focused, where XCOM is just like, the aliens are bad, we must kill them. And Fire Emblem, it's a little bit more than that. So I'm curious to see if like viewership will pick up, because there's no way I'm going to finish the game before I leave for the trip.
What if I played? You can play as a female protagonist, right?
I do, yeah. My character's female, yeah.
Okay. Do you like how is it just friendship or does it go into romance?
There's
It
romance.
can't be romance.
Yeah, there's
With
same-sex
opposite
romance
or same sex.
Yeah.
Okay. So I can have like a husbando like harem then. Okay.
Yes,
I might do that.
you totally can.
Husbando.
I think someone was saying that there's one male character that you can have same-sex relationship, but there's 3 female characters that you can have with same-sex relationship. I don't know who those characters are, but I think that it was skewed towards female same-sex relationships, if that's something that matters to you. I don't know who those characters are, though.
Are you gay? Well, there's that guy right there.
Yeah,
I hope
it's
you
kind of
like
weird.
him.
Yeah,
That's the only guy you
that,
got.
that was honestly the conversation, is that it's a little weird, and they kind of do it differently. So yeah, yeah.
Can you like form relations like in Persona? Can you form relationships with everybody? And then I mean, it kind of does end up blowing up in your face, but like,
Oh, like sexual relationships? I'm not sure. I haven't really gotten to that
dating or
stage
whatever?
yet. I'm
Okay,
just getting
I don't-
close to a dance, which I think Co might have already passed.
okay, so it goes real slow.
Yes.
Well, no. I passed that section.
Okay.
And
I'm gonna do a
what
dance
I
today.
will
I think.
say, this is what I can say for sure. I'm not far past that. In fact, I'm like just an hour or two past that.
Oh, okay.
But
Okay.
there are certain events that feature your romantic interest. And I think that the premise is that you build that up over the course of the game. I don't think
see.
it's like Persona where you can max different people at different times.
So
I think there's certain relationship forward moving events in that direction.
let me
you go
ask you
through.
this then, Co. I found a pretty obscure guard who tells you a story about how the normal practice is that on this day they go up to a tower.
Power.
Yeah. Okay. So that's, and then you choose someone at the end of that. It's just like, yeah. Okay. Because it was
You're on
kind
the
of,
right path, dude.
it was kind of
You're on the right
obscure. Like it was just a normal guard. It wasn't a character. It just says who do you think? It like gives you problems. Like, what do you think?
The importance
would be
of
up
talking
there.
to everyone in Fire Emblem. Yeah. It's yeah. Yep.
That
On the right
old
path.
gatekeeper. Anyways, yeah, that's fine.
Name's Frank, by the way.
Oh yeah, I didn't even realize he had a fucking name. It always
thought, right?
just says gatekeeper.
How dare you?
He's not a playable character. He's just a gatekeeper that like tells you stories every once in a while.
Well, he's never told me that's his name, but I'm pretty sure it's his name.
Oh, you're okay. All right, like not self-imposed name.
I'm like 90% certain.
It might be.
You
Frank.
can infer it if you really listen to it.
Sure, I get it. Yeah, Zeke, you should play it. It'll be. Like I said, I won't be by the next show. Co might be done with it. I don't think I'll be done with it.
I am doing nothing but Fire Emblem until I finish it.
I will.
So
yeah.
I better be done with it in 12 days.
Yeah. I'll probably get pretty close, I would hope, by Friday. But then after that, I'm not going to play like the main save.
I don't. I'm literally gonna wake up to like a mob outside of my house with pitchforks and freaking torches.
Yeah.
My community is being so patient with me
Well, that's
because
good.
I've literally trained them over like 5 years to have game 1 in the morning, game 2 in the afternoon, always something for everyone, right? And then
Yeah.
here comes Fire Emblem, and I'm just like, let's just change everything I've done, since I started streaming for this game.
There's in terms of new releases, there's not much out till late August, so you could half day it unless you're just too addicted and you want a full day.
I'm too
every day.
addicted.
Yeah,
Dude, I canceled 2 sponsored events.
really? Jeez. Okay, you are pretty
Because
addicted.
like I there's nothing. I'm having so much fun in Fire Emblem that other things are less fun.
I got you.
Have you ever had that happen?
Oh,
Where
yeah.
it's like
Yeah,
if
yeah.
you're really into an MMO, like you don't really want to spend your time playing other games. You'd rather just keep spending time
That's how it
playing the
was
game you
for
really enjoy.
Final Fantasy. Yeah. Yeah.
Yep, that's kind of what I'm doing. That's kind of what I'm doing right now with Fire Emblem. I want to keep playing it till it's done.
Yeah.
I know it's going to be an undertaking, but when you
Yeah,
find
good
yourself humming the battle music in the shower, you know you got a problem.
Yeah.
So that's where
true.
we are.
That's true. Yeah. Someone in chat just said, look for pictures from the wedding with JP on the side playing the Switch. It's probably going to be real. They'll be in the middle of the ceremony and I'll just.
Yeah.
Fuck!
And now, if we could please hand the groom his ring. What? Oh shit! What?
Yeah. Jesus.
Here's JP at Buckingham Palace.
Yeah, I know. JP at the
Here's
Tower of London.
JP at Big Ben.
Yep. That's going to be the picture series that I'll just make Aaron take pictures of me while I'm playing the Switch at certain historical landmarks throughout London.
JP decided to go bungee jumping.
To answer
that'll
the
be
question,
good.
chat. No, I'm not playing another house. No, I'm going to save other houses for other playthroughs.
I started.
You're a crazy man for starting a second run. Like,
Well, it's because I want to
couldn't
keep
do
playing
that.
the game, but I don't want to play that main save off stream. So I'm playing Edelgard, the Red House, off stream. But there's no way that I can devote like more than an hour to it each day, because it's just then it's like actually too much fucking Fire Emblem. It's way too much.
Just as a side note, prepare for my mods to send you hate tweets or
Okay.
that kind of stuff, because they absolutely, like, when I was playing Persona, they were like, oh god, when does it stop?
I remember that. I remember that. I do remember that. I remember being in your channel. We're going to do questions right after this. I apologize. But I remember being in your channel on what we thought was the final day of Persona. And you were like fighting what you thought was the final boss. And
Right.
everyone in the chat was like, it's over. It's over tonight. And then you like beat it. And you had like 6 more hours to go. And everyone in chat was just like, no, for fuck's sake, god damn it, move on. This game never ends.
No, it got to the point where it was like I was approaching like 11 hours or whatever on that particular end
Yes.
stream, and I was just like, I don't care. I was just like fast forwarding past everything. It's like, when the game ends, end. Same thing with 999. Even worse so for 999.
Oh.
It was a shorter game, but like the end stuff was just like, oh god, shut up.
Tell me something.
That sucks too when you get to that point. Go ahead.
We didn't get too much of a chance to talk about this, but just real quick, because I really want to get your opinion since we're off next week.
Yeah.
I heard 999 is like a series. Did all the negative aspects of the first one turn you off from doing the rest of them, Zeke? Are you planning on doing the rest of them? Like, how are you feeling about that?
I'm not gonna do them. I thought I might, like, when I first started, I was like, okay, I might do them back to back and stuff. But now they need some breathing room in between. But I will have no problem going and playing the next one. It's
Okay,
just
so you are planning on eventually finishing it.
planning.
It was good enough to continue.
But yes, I would like to.
Cool.
Yep.
All right.
Good to hear.
Let's do some questions. I know Co has a hard out. Not anyways. I was about to go a bad way. Has a hard out in 15 minutes. So we'll continue.
Got a meeting at 4.
And we'll get through these. Question 1. What are some primary things in a game that breaks your immersion in it? How important is said immersion in a game when it comes to improving your personal experience? I think this is my own personal answer, but I think for streamers, it's very rare to be fully immersed in a game because you just can't be as a streamer. Like you're looking at so many different things while streaming that it's very hard to be fully immersed. And so the very act of streaming in itself is what breaks the immersion a lot of times. And how important is said game or said immersion in the game when it comes to improving your personal experience? I think, it improves it. I think God of War was definitely something that was definitely a game that I can think of that comes to mind in the past several years that I was most immersed in, where I just wouldn't talk during a lot of the cutscenes, or I wouldn't read chat during a lot of the cutscenes because I was so engrossed in what was happening. Like specifically when that scene in the house halfway through the game, I think was probably the one scene where I was just fully fucking into it. So yeah, that's my answer. I don't know about you guys. What about you? What about immersion in games?
Well, speaking about like inside games specifically, and actually Fire Emblem does this, and it drives me absolutely crazy. If you're going to give me a system where I can automatically progress your dialogue or hit a button to do it, I'm going to select hit a button to do it. I don't need a fucking sound effect every time I hit that button. So like it drives me crazy in Fire Emblem because like you can just put the dialogue on auto and it's great.
Yeah.
The guy will say a line and then he'll go to his next line and then he'll go to his next line. But then if you put it on where you have to hit A to do the dialogue, he'll say a line, then you hit A and it goes to the next thing. And then he says his line, then you hit A again, it goes and it's like
I've honestly never heard that sound because it's just on auto. I've never.
Anyone know what I'm talking about?
I know exactly what you're
about?
talking about in terms of that
crazy.
sound in other games, but
yeah. The last few dialogue games that I've had that. Oh my god, it drives me nuts. Like I don't know why. Even if it's just a little sound, like you don't need any sound. I know I'm pressing the button. I pressed it.
Yeah.
I know you don't need to give me an auditory cue that I pressed it. So it drives me nuts, especially when games are fully voiced because like it puts this little like sound in between all of the nice voice acting. Why?
Sure.
Why you like it's just so much better if you just talk. That's one thing that just kills it for me. It drives me nuts. And oh god, for the few people in chat that are like, I never noticed that before. I'm sorry. Sorry. Like I'm oh man. Okay. But yeah.
Final Fantasy 14 does do that. Anytime someone finishes a sentence, it makes like a high ping. it's pretty annoying.
I remember that. Oh god.
I didn't remember it until someone brought it up.
It was horrible.
Yeah.
It was horrible.
I don't know why they do that. Because the whole point of sounds like that are supposed to give the player feedback of an action that they may not know about, but by definition, you know you're progressing the dialogue. So it's like, why does there a sound need to be there? Like, what is the thinking here? You need to let me know that I did the thing with my thumb? Because I know I did that.
I don't know.
So, I don't know, dude. Yeah, kind of a small thing, but still drives me nuts.
One thing that can really break my immersion in a game is if every person in the game is well voice acted, and then there's one that's just terrible, and you're just sitting there, you're like going through a game. I can't think of an example off the top of my head, but I know there's been games out there where I've been like, all right, cool. This guy's, I like these guys, and this guy, everybody's like in the right place. And then you get this like, hey guys, I'm character. Hello. You're like, Jesus fucking, you don't belong in this game. Or they need a different voice actor. Like, Jesus, it's terrible.
Yeah.
It'll just like throw me out for however long, and I will avoid or skip scenes if I can with that character in it. It's just terrible when that happens. I hate it.
I get what you're saying.
Yeah. And how important is that immersion in a game? It depends on what kind of game it is. Some of the most immersive games that I've played in recent history are God of War, Horizon Zero Dawn.
Yes. God, that's such a good game.
It's really, 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 really good. Tetris Effect. Holy fuck.
Dude, have you played that on PC yet?
A lot of VR games are crazy like that. Like Resident Evil 7 was highly super immersive.
That's just the pull of VR, I think.
Yeah, that is definitely the pull of VR, for sure. Absolutely. But the one that I always point to as far as immersive environment and story and all that kind of shit is like BioShock, like from my favorite game series, because it's just this entire world and nothing like breaks me out of it. It's just that's how you do immersion, in my opinion. Because an immersion, like, it's funny because you're submersed, like you're in an underwater facility, like the first game, and it's so well crafted and so well done, and has a style and has a language and music that really everything just coincides and just fits together like a puzzle, and you find yourself just like in the world. And if like a phone call, like you can tell how immersed you are in a game if something outside of the game really gives you a jump.
Sure.
like like a doorbell. Like you're sitting there, ding dong, what the fuck? Like that. That's how you know like that game is awesome. But it's very important to me personally.
Again, it's VR, but Skyrim VR was fucking actually crazy immersive when I played that, because it's VR first off, but Skyrim in itself, I think, is a game that people have gotten lost in since it came out in 1974. At least billions of times since then. Let's move on to the next question. A comparison was made between the new Fire Emblem and Final Fantasy Tactics. It brings to mind the idea of how important customization is to your units to make you more attached to them, as well as having more control over creating your own group synergy. My question is, how important is it to everyone here to be able to customize your own units from the ground up, and if the feeling of despair from losing said units permadeath really improves the overall game experience or not? Let me. Do you have an answer? Because I was going to reread the question.
Well, I was going to say right now, the customization about the students is one of the reasons I fell in love with this game.
Yeah.
Like I absolutely love the fact that the premise is that you start with this basically like class of clay, and that you can kind of like, as a professor in the game, you are like angling, helping, training, even help decide their end classes. Like you are basically molding this team into what you want. You are crafting a weapon throughout Fire Emblem, slowly and methodically through each of these people.
Yeah.
And I love that about it. That's one of the reasons I think I'm completely infatuated with this game right now. It's because I feel like I'm leading a team. And that I'm crafting that team. Like one of my favorite parts of this game is there's different ranks of classes. And each of those classes has like two rows of new things that you can certify into.
Yeah.
And one of my favorite times of this game is just sitting there with my team. And in fact, I'm doing this tomorrow morning with the endgame classes, where it's just like, okay, this guy's good at this stuff, but he could be good at this. So I think we might be able to slot him into this master class. And this guy's done this. He's not really good at this, but I think if we focus on that in our teachings, we can really get him to the point where it's good. And it's like you're really kind of like coaching a friend, where it's like, okay, you're not good at this, but we could make you good at this if we worked on it. And it's this connection that you have with them. So, and what's really also fun about FE is the master classes are the only line that require 3 skills. So it's this kind of like, and then the intermediate is 2, and then the first ones are like 1. So you're constantly kind of building, customizing. And yeah, I love it. So to answer Dan's question, that's one of the reasons I'm in love with this game.
Yeah, I think so. I think that it just, any attachment to the characters, even if they, and I think a lot of it too is like the start of the game, your characters all fucking suck. Midway through the game, some characters excel. My hope is towards the end of the game, like everyone is awesome, so you celebrate that in every move that they do.
Team.
Yeah, you've got a fucking crew. Yeah. And so that's definitely something. I think that's true, and like I think that's why people just enjoy like JRPGs in general, is because you start out, your characters are shit, you learn about them, you learn their story, they get stronger, they get some cool item, some cool spell that like is really strong and becomes imperative to their normal thing that they do all the time, and you celebrate that. And I think that's just why people enjoy those type of games. Any character,
I gotta
any
say,
game.
JP, it's really funny because our preference just got traced back to 2 entirely different geographical origins.
In what sense?
You just said it's exactly like JRPGs.
Sure.
And in my mind, it's all about CRPGs. So like for me, it's the same, like the exact.
I mean, it's true in both worlds. Yeah.
From my Pathfinder, from my Wastelands, from my my PoEs, like going from 0 to hero, and then most importantly, sculpting along the way. Like that's one of the reasons I love these games.
I mean, I
think it's the same for both of us.
100%. I would love CRPGs if everything was voiced. Like if everything was voiced in all the CRPGs you just mentioned, as it's voiced in Fire Emblem, I'd probably do full playthroughs of it.
You got through PoE 2. You absolutely
that's true. That's exactly what I got through PoE 2. Yeah, I didn't think about that.
Dude, the full voice acting of Fire Emblem is so key for streaming.
Yeah.
I can't even tell you. It's the difference between chilling and watching a movie or having to like stand in front of a group and put on a freaking like read a speech for 4 hours.
Yeah.
It's one of the reasons I'm loving it, streaming it.
Yeah. It's really easy to stream with that.
The DOS 2 as well. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I guess.
Wait, you're not done DOS 2?
I started DOS 2 in a co-op playthrough with Strippin. The thing with co-op playthroughs on Twitch is they never actually finish the game.
Yeah, I was going to say, you should try a solo run sometime. You should put DOS 2 in your back pocket, dude. One of the best, I'm just going to go ahead and say it. For you, I think it'd be better than PoE 2 for you. like
BO2
significantly.
was good, but it wasn't like, wow, that was an
BO2
incredible
was
game.
good, but it wasn't, especially the main story and everything. Like BOS2 is on kind of a different level.
Yeah, it might be the type of thing if we ever have like another July that was in this year. The thing going into the fall, it's gonna be way too busy. But if I ever have a dead zone, I might jump into that.
Also, they have the enhanced edition and everything now, so you'd benefit.
I've been
from,
playing
like,
the best version of it without a doubt.
thousands and thousands of fixes and balances, and yeah.
Yeah. Zeke, did
I'm
you?
sorry. BOS2 is Divinity Original Sin.
Yes.
Sorry.
Yeah.
Those asking in chat.
Zeke, you want me to rephrase the question since we kind of got away from it, or do you have an answer?
No, how important is it to customize your own units from the ground up?
That's right.
That was one of the funnest parts in XCOM,
Yes.
but I don't think it's absolutely necessary. I don't mind playing a stock character as long as I get to level them the way I see fit for the most part. Like, I don't mind having a character that's more geared towards ranged or magic or melee or whatever like that. I don't mind that at all. But just a little bit of customization would be great. And also, like, it probably doesn't happen in Fire Emblem, but I would also like to be able to like change their outfits.
That's
like
one thing
fashion.
I wish was in Fire Emblem, and it does change because each class changes the way they look a little bit. But I would love to be able to go in and like customize. But it's a Switch game, so there's limitations that I'm sure exist for that very reason.
To be just like JP said, though, there are beginner, intermediate, advanced, and master
There's
classes.
a lot.
And every time a character changes class, they completely change how they look. And sometimes they get a mount, sometimes they get a big new weapon. Like they look, every class looks very, very different.
Yeah.
So there's no customization internally, but as for your team, you will see them go through multiple outfits throughout the game. And the last outfits, especially like my Dedu right now is an armored knight advanced. It looks like a space marine out of Warhammer 40K. Like,
I just got that on Hilda. Yeah.
Yeah, they're
fucking
awesome.
crazy
The
shoulders.
dancer, like I just got a dancer. She looks phenomenal.
I haven't seen how that looks
there's-
yet. I just got that or when I ended, so I'm curious to see how it looks.
Who'd you make your dancer out of curiosity?
Marianne, the healer.
That's a great joke.
Yeah, she had like fucking before the charisma boost that you get. She had
Charm.
18 charm. She had
Throws me
18
off,
charm.
too.
Yeah.
Wow.
So now
really?
she has 22 charm, I think. And I just got a +2 charm item that I'm probably gonna give to her since that's the main stat for that. Anyways, yeah, it's crazy. I almost made Sylvain the dancer, maybe Claude. Maybe it was Claude. I forget. Anyways, it doesn't matter. Let's move on. Final question. Co's got 2 minutes, so he's going to answer this. We'll do shout outs and then me and Zeke will answer it. Gen Con is this weekend. I was curious, do you guys have have you had any particular favorite board game that I should keep an eye out for when I make it to the convention? Do you guys play board games?
I have 3.
Yeah?
They're older games. Well, some of them are older. My 3 favorite board games that I can remember right off the top of my head. Hero Quest.
Oh, I remember
awesome.
Hero Quest.
Hero Quest was awesome, but you barely could get someone to sit down and play it after you were like setting up all the shit and stuff like that. Once you got it all that there, the other person was like, I don't want to play this anymore. You're like, I just got it set up.
Yep.
Fuck.
That's what I remember about that game.
But that I loved Hero Quest when you actually got to play through it because it was so much fun. 2, Fireball Island. I fucking loved Fireball Island.
Never heard that.
That shit was great. It was an old kids game where you would you take these hikers up this. Yeah, and then you'd push the thing and the little like marble that was red would come down and like bust your guys up. That was great. And then the third one, which I only played a couple of times, but it's like I think it's from the late 70s, early 80s, but the original Clash of the Titans board game.
Huh.
I played that a couple of times because my friend had it because his parents had it. I was like, what is this? Because we love Clash of the Titans. We'd watch it all the time. And we played. I was like, oh my God, they have a fucking board game? We played it, and it was awesome. Yeah, it was great.
Yeah.
Those are my 3 answers.
Risk, Stratego. Those are kind of my 2. I don't know if Co has any other answers. I don't play very many board games, or I haven't in a long time.
Fireball Island was amazing. I used to play like the generic board games growing up. I played like one RPG board game with my dad and some of my friends, and can't remember the name of it for the life of me, but it was like the first board game that I ever had like an actual sheet for my character and stuff. I was only like 11 or 12 or something, but I had such a good time with that
Might have
game.
been Hero
Funny enough, like
Quest.
the last big game like that I've ever played. I'm not a big board game guy, and I have no friends, so I
Yeah.
don't really like, you know. I've tried playing against a wall multiple times, but for some reason they don't play back. It's strange, but
Same, dude.
that's kind of how I am with that.
Yeah.
So.
Anyways, do some shout outs, and me and Co will probably keep talking about it. Or me and Zeke will probably keep talking for a sec.
For sure.
Go ahead.
Fire Emblem, at least for the next week. Probably
Hey,
morning and night, and I'm probably
Fire
going to be
Emblem?
skipping lunch. So Fire Emblem. Yeah, Fire Emblem.
Oh, Fire Emblem.
But yeah, anyway, guys, as always, thank you for watching. Big thanks to JP and Zeke. As we said earlier, we will not be here next week. So I will see all of you fine folks in a couple weeks. Until then, I am going to be playing Fire Emblem. Morning and afternoon streams and skipping lunch until I am done. So maybe it'll be 5 days. Maybe it'll be like 10. I have no idea. I've already let my management know that I'm not doing any of the stuff I've agreed to until I'm done with this game. And I am basically just going to be no-lifing it until it's done. So, yeah, that's about it. Hope you like Fire Emblem if you're enjoying the channel. After that, we've got all sorts of things coming up on the channel. So Fire Emblem isn't your thing. We will have some more stuff coming up. And, of course, September's right around the corner. But as always, thank you guys for watching. We won't see you next week, but we'll see you the week after that. And, yeah, have a great one.
Cool. Thanks for that. Enjoy the end of the game. I really want to talk about what I know that happens in the end of the game, but I'll just have to wait 2 weeks because I don't want to spoil anything.
Yeah, in a couple weeks, we'll have a lot to talk about, man.
Yeah. I've heard some crazy stuff happens, so we'll see. Anyways, get out here, make a funny face, have fun in the meeting. We'll see you next time. Yeah, ping me after the meeting. I want to talk about it because we had the same meeting. Are you going to the same meeting that I am going to?
Oh yeah, I'll send you a message.
Yeah, we'll have thoughts about that. Anyways,
God damn it! I'm not invited to this
that was
shit.
that was a behind the scenes bullshit that shouldn't have been on the show. Get out of here, Co.
All right, I'm out of here. You guys later.
Bye. Nice. Looks great. I love it. Yeah, you never played Stratego, Zeke? You never got in?
I don't think so.
Man, Stratego is a fucking... You had to hide the spy and you had to hide your flag. And one of the best, worst things to do was you put your flag in the first row because no one ever thinks that they're thinking it's going to be behind a bunch of bombs and all this shit. So then people always just go for the corners, but the flag's like in the fucking center of the map. It's great. It's a stupid move. No one...
It sounds like oh God, Vicini like things like, I know that you know that I know that the poison could not be in my cup.
Yeah, a little bit.
Yeah.
Yeah, Stratego's good. Risk was also... Did you ever play Risk?
Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
Risk was always the game
played
that I
Risk.
like semi understood what I was doing. And then about mid game, I had no idea what I was doing. And I just kind of let everyone make the decisions for me. It was, yeah.
Well, I mean, I was in chess club in high school and stuff, so I don't know. I don't really count chess as a board game, even though it is.
Yeah.
It's like its whole other world kind of a thing.
Yeah.
So I did that. I love Scrabble. I whoop ass at Scrabble.
Oh, you whooped my ass. You whooped me and didn't you beat me and Max's ass at PAX Unplugged or something in Scrabble?
Yeah.
I forgot about that because I'd never played Scrabble before that. Turns out I was bad at it.
I got a good vocabulary. I go to the library quite a bit.
You also just made up words, and me and Max were like, well, that's a word. Let's move on.
That's another thing that I love fucking doing. Is like convincing you how smart I am, and then you're like, you could challenge it if you want to lose your turn. But and I'm like, I got away with a couple of doozies.
You did. They didn't mean anything. And me and Max were like, well, that's a word, I guess. Let's move on.
Right? Like,
Yeah.
nah, you challenge him. Nah, you do. Because you got to play with more than one person, though.
Yes, yeah, you can't do
So
two
they're
persons.
fighting over. It's like, I'm not gonna challenge him. You do it if you think you're so smart.
Yeah, I think this question came from the fact that there was like a video going around of a kid that was playing Monopoly who was crying about taxes and how they're the worst thing, and it was like yesterday or the day before on Reddit. But it made me think of the idea that I want to play Monopoly with a bunch of streamers, but in some way find like a currency exchange for the money in the game with gifted subs. And so as we like gifted subs, I think that would be fun to do. And it would also like raise the stakes a little bit, and it would also be legal and not just raw money, which would be illegal to stream in some states. So
It's a very Japanese way around it, like how they do pachinko.
It is.
It's like you're not gambling for money. You're putting money in for prizes.
Yeah.
Maybe you sell the prizes off-site somewhere else, but that's none of our business.
It'd be kind of fun. Anyways, maybe that'll be something to do. There's ways to play Monopoly. I know that like Ninja and Tim and all them did Uno. That one time for gifted subs for people that would win. That was a lot of fun.
Oh, they did? Okay.
Yeah. Anyways, I think we're good. You got anything else? We good? We didn't do Indie Sunday. We'll save that for 2 weeks from now. I guess you'll have 3 Indie Sundays by then. We'll do an Indie episode.
Maybe, yeah. Yeah, maybe.
We'll see. Anyways, I know you got a show in about 55 minutes from now, so we'll get out of here.
Yep.
Do some shout outs for us. Talk about that show.
You bet. What's up, everybody? Thank you guys for watching. Thank you to Co and JP as always. My name is Ezekiel the Third. You can find me at / Ezekiel_III on Twitter, Twitch, and YouTube. In about, like JP said, in about 54 minutes from now, I will be doing a tabletop role-playing game called Nocturne over on twitch.tv/Table Story. And it's just like it sounds. I'm going to put it in the chat right now. Twitch.tv/Table Story. There it is right there. It's a modern day supernatural Twilight Zone, like thriller, that kind of stuff with ghosts and demons and shit like that. Timey-wimey, wibbly-wobbly stuff too. So it's a lot of fun. I'm really proud of it. I think it's a great show. I'd love for you guys to come check it out because a lot of people who have checked it out for the first time go back to the beginning of the whole series and watch it from the beginning. So I think if you give it a shot, you might really enjoy it. But if you want to watch me play video games, I will be on tomorrow at noon playing God knows what. Fuck, I have no idea. I might break out a CD-ROM game. I still got like stacks of that shit. Because I want to give a little bit more space between fucking 999 and anime stuff before I jump into Fire Emblem, which I am going to do before we have another show. So that's happening at noon Pacific tomorrow. I'm not sure what. Follow my Twitter if you want to know. I'll probably put up a straw poll up there for you guys to vote on what game you want to see. So that's all I got. Thank you.
Cool. Looks like your internet figured itself out, so that's good. Glad to see that. I don't know what was going on with it in the beginning. It was weird.
You think it's on my end? You think? Because Max was having a little problem yesterday too. Like
here's Max's secret that he doesn't tell anyone. He uploads stuff towards the end of Court of Swords because he doesn't care anymore. That's why his internet goes to shit. He throws an upload on.
Right.
So he just doesn't talk about it. But I'm like 99% sure he uploads.
I totally forgot Max is such a piece of shit.
Yeah, sometimes you forget. I mean, he's such a nice guy, openly like facing, but behind the scenes he's just a trash.
Max is like a Christmas present, but inside of the nice wrapping and bow is just a pile of dog shit.
Just a pile of dog shit. Yeah. And it's not like the dry hard shit. It's like the wet shit that just like fills out the entire box. You know what I'm saying?
It's re-microwave dog shit.
Yeah. It's like someone. Yes, they rehydrated it. We'll make another Back to the Future reference in the hydrator. With shit and then put water in it and it just filled out the entire cube. And that's what Max is. He's a Christmas present of shit.
Is he going with you? He's not going with you to England, is he?
He'll be there next week. Yeah. He'll probably be late though. So who knows if I'll see him. I don't know.
If he catches his flight. Anyway.
Yeah, he'll probably miss his flight. And if he doesn't miss the flight, he'll probably miss the wedding. And if he doesn't miss the wedding, we might see him at the airport going back. Who knows? We'll see. We'll see how it goes. Anyways, that's it for Drop Frames. Thanks everyone for watching. We will see you guys in 2 weeks because, like we were just talking about, I'm gone next week in London to see Shannon and Sacriel ruin their life. So we'll see you then in 2 weeks for more Drop Frames. We're out.
I'll just slide that in there.
Bye-bye.